Not for children because we need a sane future for our country. I like that. I actually like that. Hopefully, we're able to achieve that based on the path we're on. Some might suggest that that doesn't look like the current trajectory that we're going to be taking, but we'll see what's going on with that. Nevertheless, let me go ahead and get comfortable, and we'll be riding together. We'll be riding together for a full show this evening. Now, I guess I'll go ahead and start out with the number one topic as you see on the monitor behind me. Jimmy Kimmel is back. It was announced today around, probably around between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern time. It was announced today that the Disney Corp, by way of ABC, has decided to put Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. Now, remember, he was suspended indefinitely. Many were suggesting it was because of the Charlie Kirk related comments he made. Others believe it was President Trump interfering with free speech and pulling levers behind the scene. We'll certainly talk about all of that today, but nevertheless, Jimmy Kimmel is back. Remember, Jimmy Kimmel was the one that was supposedly, he's not funny, his ratings are pathetic, and of course, he's costing ABC a ton of money to even keep him on the air. Same thing that was said about Stephen Colbert as well. It's costing a bunch of money, he's not funny, and having said that, why should he even be on? So I guess the first question is going to be asked is, if he is truly not funny, if he is indeed costing the network a ton of money and nobody is watching him, his ratings are so low, why did Disney bring him back so quick? Think about that. Why would Disney bring him back if he's costing the network a whole bunch of money and nobody's watching him anyway? Why not just give him, make some type of deal with him and pay him off and be done with him? So the fact that they brought him back kind of counters the comment that he wasn't making any money for the network, nobody was watching him, and he wasn't funny. They would not have brought him back like that, in my humble opinion. But we'll end up talking about that. Maybe somebody can counter. Let me make sure I'm on my make sure my Wi-Fi is on and not Bluetooth. Okay, so we'll talk about it from that angle. But they did bring him back. He will be back on the air live tomorrow night. Tomorrow night he'll be back on. So that's likely to be a very highly watched show. Now, there is some issues with it though. There are some companies out there that controls bands of networks, and those companies are ran by some Trump affiliates. There are some, like Sinclair Broadcasting. I believe Sinclair Broadcasting owns several channels, and Sinclair is in with the Trump administration. So keep in mind, there is a possibility that if your local ABC affiliate is controlled by someone, a CEO or a company that is Trump friendly, they still can opt not to show Jimmy Kimmel in your local area. So let's say you live in, the panhandle of Oklahoma, blood red area, and you're getting those channels that are coming out of Amarillo, Texas, and that rural area out there, southwestern Colorado, very rural area. Whatever network is out there broadcasting the ABC affiliate, they can opt to not show that. Put, as they did before, put Family Feud reruns on there. So there may be networks, there likely will be still some areas that don't get this. But you know what the problem is going to be? You're just going to increase, if this happens, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying it could happen. If this happens where they black out Jimmy Kimmel in certain parts of the country in, conservative areas, you're just going to increase the desire to see the program. You're just going to when you tell people they can't see something, you really motivate them to want to see it. So if they end up doing that, you're just going to blow Jimmy Kimmel's ratings up even more, because now people are going to go online looking for it or wherever they can find it. They're not going to sit there and be watching Steve Harvey reruns of Family Feud. They're going to want to see what you're hiding from them. So we'll see if they do that. But there are suggestions that may happen because some of these networks are covered by folks who are friendly to the Trump camp. And we know President Trump does not favor Jimmy Kimmel. But first topic we're going to talk about, I do want to hear from you folks why you believe he is back on the air. Next one here, I don't know what to say about this one, but some of these topics we get are nothing short of comical. I want to give you this one because this one came in, I don't know what a few hours ago or something of that nature. This is not very old, but it's making all the news rounds. And I don't know, to some degree, this is kind of comical, but maybe a lot of you folks find this to be absolutely serious.
First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of let's see how we say that, acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol during pregnancy, can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary. That's, for instance, in cases of extremely high fever, that you feel you can't tough it out, you can't do it. I guess there's that. It's a small number of cases, I think. But if you can't tough it out, if you can't do it, that's what you're gonna have to do. You'll take a Tylenol, but it'll be very sparingly. It can be something that's very dangerous to the woman's health. In other words, a fever.
Okay, I'm going to stop it here, but I want to ask you folks, by way of yes or no in the comments, you think he's giving good, sound advice? Do you favor what he's saying and favor the president for stepping up and saving potentially babies from being harmed by Tylenol? Do you actually believe there is validity to what President Trump is saying? By way of yes or no in the comments, do you believe there is validity? I see the comments. Dame Boogie says, "What the fuck he say?" Do you believe there is validity in what he is saying? He is saying that pregnant women should not take Tylenol. He is stating that taking Tylenol while pregnant increases the likelihood of autism. So I do see a lot of folks that actually do believe what he is saying is valid. So we'll end up seeing, now from what I can tell, the medical community is saying that the medical evidence on this is not solid. So we'll see what ends up happening. I assume, and I'm just going to make it clear here, I am assuming, because I'm no medical professional whatsoever, but I am going to assume Tylenol will take some kind of legal action on this and push back. Obviously, women that have been pregnant have been taking Tylenol for fevers and things like that, probably since most of us were damn near born. So I can remember the old, how many of you folks are old enough to remember the Tylenol scare? It was later found to be a woman. I think she was putting, was she putting cyanide? There was a few people that died about this. This is back in the 80s. Some of you folks may remember that, the Tylenol scare, but I can remember Tylenol going back as far as I remember. So this is the first time ever I've heard somebody try to link autism to taking Tylenol while pregnant. But here we go. Debo says pregnant women know what not to take. Well, here you go. And according to the news, the medical professionals will continue advising women to take Tylenol while pregnant. That's what I heard. So I think there's an ample amount of folks in the medical community that does not agree what Trump and Kennedy are releasing here. Appreciate that. Thank you for the TikTok cap there, handsome conservative. Thank you very much. Thank you. So the thing about it is, now you see the video there, you got Dr. Oz, Kennedy and Trump all standing there, and I don't know, the Dr. Oz obviously has extensive medical training. He's obviously, I believe he was a cardiologist. So he's absolutely qualified to get involved in medical conversations. Kennedy and Trump, however, Trump, that I know of, has zero medical education, and Kennedy's medical education revolves around him suing medical outfits. I'm not aware that he has any medical education at all either. So it is kind of concerning that these gentlemen come in and they fire all of the leading medical professionals in the CDC, Center for Disease Control, and then they start telling you what not to take. And meanwhile, the folks they fired are telling you these guys don't know what they're talking about. So we'll see how this ends up. I see in the comments, Z198 says this is dangerous. And yeah, Wanda says none of them are doctors. Well, Dr. Oz is, but Dr. Oz is kind of just standing there for visual support. It's mainly Trump and Kennedy that are the ones that are saying this. Dr. Oz is just there for visual support to at least make it so we got at least one respected doctor on here. So I don't know, but this is what they're saying now, is that you should not take Tylenol. Now, before I go to the third topic here, what was particularly humorous about this
effective
is
immediately,
President
the FDA
Trump
will be notifying physicians.
President Trump is trying to tell you don't take acetaminophen, and he can't even pronounce it. That's kind of comical.
At the use of well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly.
How you gonna tell me not to take something you can't pronounce? You've been studying this and actually doing your homework to advise us that this is harmful, and you don't even know how to pronounce it? I'm just going to say that doesn't look right. Listen, any of us can mispronounce a word here or there, but if you literally are about to go and tell the public not to take something that is harmful, that means you've done your homework on this. The last thing you should have trouble doing is pronouncing what you're telling people not to take. That just my humble opinion. I'm not trying to necessarily make fun of Trump, but he's kind of doing it to himself there. But my humble opinion is the fact that you don't know how to pronounce this does not look good. It's not Trump's job to do the fucking test, says Robert Kennedy. No, it's not his job to do the fucking test. But the problem is, it's not Kennedy's job to do the fucking test either. Kennedy doesn't have a medical background, so it's not Kennedy's job to do the fucking test either. So I just want you to hear that. Now, last but not least, we all know yesterday was a big day for the memorial of Charlie Kirk. Memorial for Charlie Kirk, and there was some really wholesome, some really tearful speeches. If you watched it, if you lean left, you probably didn't watch it. I watched some of it. There's a YouTube video there's a video on YouTube of the memorial that's like 9 hours long. So if you want to sit there and watch that, you have to be a really devoted Charlie Kirk fan. But nevertheless, there is a 9-hour video on YouTube that's on Charlie Kirk's site. So it's released by Charlie Kirk's, I guess the wife is now the CEO, so it's released by their site itself. It's 9+ hours. It's got a few million views on it already. So you got a 9-hour video. If a few million people have watched it, and I'm assuming they didn't watch it in its entirety, but if you can get a few million people to watch a 9-hour video, you're gonna make a ton of money off of that. A ton of money off of that. I mean, that's got to be, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You get a few million people that's willing to sit there for 9. Think about all the ads and shit that are covered in 9 hours. You make a killing off of that. But anyway, I do want you folks to hear something, because this was the wife of Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk, I believe her name. Erica Kirk. I don't want to mispronounce her name. I don't want to call the woman acetaminophen or something, but Erica Kirk gave a very memorable statement.
Just like the one who took his life. That young man. That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
that's worth rising up to applaud to. Could you do it though? Could you do that if your husband was taken out in front of you and your children in the manner that Charlie Kirk lost his life? Could you do that? And in President Trump-like fashion, when you hear a statement like what Erica Kirk, I want to keep saying clerk for some reason, but when you hear what Erica Kirk said, think about what she just said about how she's able to forgive someone that has literally put her probably through the worst tragedy in her life. Probably, when I say the worst tragedy in her life, even if she lives to 90, that's probably going to be the worst thing she's ever experienced. But take her statement and contrast it to this.
He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent.
Now, one thing, and I'm not very religious, but I did grow up Christian, and I will say one of the tenets of being a Christian is the ability to forgive, which is what you see Erica Kirk doing. Now, there's been back and forth conversations on whether Trump is a Christian or not, but you just heard what he said, and whether or not you believe it's warranted, maybe you see a whole lot of liberals that have tried to impeach him, tried to put him in prison, said a bunch of bad things. If your response is, well, I understand why he hates him and he should because of all the things the liberals have done to him, then I gotta say, that doesn't sound very Christian-like. Certainly at a event where everybody is talking about love and God, here he comes along talking about he hates his opponents, when the event is not about him. The event is about the late Charlie Kirk. For him to say something like this, in my humble opinion, we'll certainly talk about this, and I'm sure some of you folks will have a different opinion, but this kind of really put a damper on the event for the president of the United States to go to this event and say he hates his opponents and he does not wish the best for them. Why is this such a big deal? Because this is exactly what the right was criticizing the left for doing. Being opponents of Charlie Kirk and making fun of, if not celebrating, what happened to Charlie Kirk. Not wishing goodwill upon their opponents. That's what happened to Charlie Kirk. That's what he's doing. That is exactly what he is doing, is that I don't wish goodwill on my opponents either. This is exactly what folks that were, making light of what happened to Charlie Kirk were doing. And now you got the president on stage doing the same thing in reverse. Journey with Jamie says, Tim, you are 100% right on this. Yeah, I'm just going to say this right off the bat. Even if you absolutely believe that Trump has a right to be angry with folks because of what he's went through over the years, do you think this is the time and place for it? They're all there talking about how God has affected their lives, how Kirk has affected their lives, how much they love Kirk and how much Kirk loved others. Now, some of my liberals don't see the love out of Kirk. I get that. Some minorities don't see the love out of Kirk. But this particular venue wasn't filled with those people. These are all pro-Kirk, pro-Charlie Kirk, supporters. And here he comes along in the middle of an entire medley of speeches about love and God, talking about who he hates. I don't know. We'll end up talking. I want to get some MAGA on this because some of you folks need to clear this up for me. I don't see how this was the proper time or place to do this. I just don't. But I've had a few folks throughout the day tell me that I'm wrong on this, and what he did was justifiable. And I'm going to continue by pointing out something else that I really, really find problematic. I do want to play this, and then we'll start taking calls. By the way, we don't block, ban, or censor. We'll get this monologue in real quick. We'll play this last clip, and then I'll start taking calls and reading your comments. But you know how the program is ran. We are MAGA friendly. Always MAGA friendly. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their comments. You may hear things you disagree with. You may hear things you favor. That's how free speech works. You can be critical of anyone on this program up to and including the host. That's how it always goes. We're left of Bernie Sanders, so I'm having dinner with Q. But nevertheless, this is, once again, very in Trump-like fashion. This is Stephen Miller, and I want to cover something he says.
We will prevail over the forces of wickedness and evil. They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us. Because we stand for what is good, what is virtuous, what is noble. And to those trying to incite violence against us, those trying to foment hatred against us, what do you have? You have nothing. You are nothing. You are wickedness, you are jealousy, you are envy, you are hatred. You are nothing. You can build nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create. We are the ones who lift up humanity. You thought you could kill Charlie Kirk? You have made him immortal. You have immortalized Charlie Kirk. And now millions will carry on his legacy.
Now, wow, he had a lot to say. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. But real quick before we do that, wow, in somewhat similar fashion, before we start taking calls.
You know, I can't help but think that they tried to silence my friend Charlie Kirk. They tried to silence our dear friend Charlie Kirk. And tonight, we speak with Charlie and for Charlie louder than ever. The evil murderer who took Charlie from us expected us to have a funeral today, and instead, my friends, we have had a revival in celebration of Charlie Kirk and of his Lord Jesus Christ.
Now, getting into this, and I see some of you folks that already got ahead of me in the comments, but let's just be clear. I guess I'll see if I can find one of my remaining videos from previous shows. This young lad that's on the screen, that is who took the life of Charlie Kirk. He, what is his name? Tyler Robinson. He is in custody. He's awaiting trial. Apparently, he's not cooperating with authorities, but he ultimately will be found guilty. There's enough DNA and evidence left behind that they'll either end up getting a guilty conviction and basically putting him in a path of capital punishment, or to take capital punishment off the table, he'll probably plead guilty and spend the rest of his life incarcerated. This is the guy that took the life of Charlie Kirk. The authorities have made it clear they got their man. There is no one else involved, leading to the obvious question. Why the hell do they keep saying they and them? And I mean, why are they making it sound like Charlie Kirk is a whole bunch of people? It is one individual, one round, one casualty is how Charlie Kirk left the earth. Why is it that the right, are they just eager to have a boogeyman? You got your man. I don't understand it. You got your man, your guy is incarcerated. Why do they keep saying they and them as if they are part of the LGBTQ community and they're finding out about new pronouns? Can somebody explain that? Because this is a he and a him thing. It's not a they or them. I thought they were really adamant about getting control of pronouns. It really sounds like the right is looking for an enemy, and the one they have caught is not satisfying them enough. That's the way I'm taking it. You heard J.D. Vance, you heard Stephen Miller. I don't know if President Trump, I didn't listen to the full speech here, but I can't remember if he used them or they or any of that stuff as well, but he certainly has done it earlier when he blamed the assassination on the Democrats. He certainly has done it as well. So I do want to hear from you folks. And I see in the comments, Shia Lou says, that includes you. So I'm responsible too. I want to know. So I do want to hear from you folks. Why is it that the right is making the assassin plural when they clearly have their man and it's one single guy? So we're going to go ahead and start the program off. Long monologue, a lot going on. We don't block, ban, or censor. Looking in the comments. So we all you alive. Debo, I don't quite get what you're saying there. He meant them, Christians and teachers, people who debate the young people. That's what he was all about, was trying to get them to think for themselves. No, Mary, we're not talking about who Charlie Kirk. We're talking about the Stephen Millers and the J.D. Vances are blaming the assassination on plural pronouns. They took his life. Them they cannot stop or silence him. They're making it sound like multiple people took out Charlie Kirk. Why is that? Why is that? Nothing to do. Love the name says, one single guy, are you sure? That's what the FBI is saying. Didn't Cash Patel come on television and say we got him? He didn't say we got them. Cash Patel announced when they had actually taken the killer into custody. He got on television and said, we got him. So yeah, that's what they're releasing, is they got one guy. They're not suggesting that it's a bunch of people. Let me go straight to the box. Maybe somebody can clear this up, because I'm clueless as to why we're talking in plurality. Tamar Bowles, good evening. Welcome to the program. Are you hearing this in the plural sense as well?
Yes, Tim. I definitely am.
And do you believe maybe more than one person took him out?
No. What they're trying to do, in my opinion, is try to make the country one political party.
Explain.
And that's why there's.
What do you mean?
That's why they're talking that way. If you think about it.
So by blaming Kirk's assassination on multiple people, how would that lead to only having one political party, though?
They're gonna try it. That's why the whole thing with Antifa. If you think about it, right? They're saying that Antifa is a terrorist organization. So therefore, they'll probably try. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but in my opinion, you look at it, they're saying, hey.
Okay, I don't know what happened on TikTok, but I'll have to see what ends up happening here. Firearms. Oh, you know something? Holy shit! They actually suspended. Wow, they actually suspended my live on TikTok for showing a young Tyler Robinson holding that rifle. Really? TikTok is really heavy on the censorship. That's what they're saying. I showed a firearm. That was Tyler Robinson holding that rifle. And I guess their algorithm or whatever caught it. So I'll go ahead and appeal it. Wow, that's crazy. That is really crazy to showing that, discussing what happened, and they did that. I'll go ahead and continue on. Let me see. The conspiracy theories are going wild about all of this. Yep, TikTok hates guns. The picture of it was so small. I'm surprised they could even, well, I guess it is a computer. I mean, but wow, that's crazy that they actually ended up picking that out. And I'll have to end up figuring out if they allow me to appeal or whatever, but I did not expect that. I really did not expect that. Let me see here. Yeah, they got, I'm assuming I may have to end up moving it to the other live here. I did not think, because we've shown that before on the program, and it did not result in what just took place. I've shown, in fact, there are several photos. I guess I'll know not to show on TikTok anymore, but there's several photos of Tyler Robinson holding a 50 cal. I got one of him holding a rocket launcher. I mean, he's holding weapons all over the damn place. I didn't think that, and we've shown him on multiple other programs, and never had that happen before. So I'll go ahead and appeal it anyway, and we'll see what ends up happening. But first time I've seen that happen. Anyway, BB guns rights should not be allowed unless you're. Here's the problem, though. What if you show a police officer? I mean, every police officer is carrying a firearm. What if you show a police officer? Are they going to ban you if he's, if you can see the sidearm on the side? That's insane. In a country where open carry and everything is legal, I mean, you could literally just be walking down the street doing a TikTok dance, and somebody could walk in the frame that's open carrying. I mean, it's hard to imagine that they're banning that based on that, but they did do it. We'll continue on, though. They said Trump is singling EO to have colleges mandatory make a memorial for Kirk on campus. I don't get it. Listen, I need to read the brief. Well, I'll start the other live on the other page, but I don't understand why. Look, I get that Charlie Kirk was preaching Christianity. he was a right-wing hero. I get all of that, but I don't understand what made him so special beyond that. That you're talking about highways and things like that. I would need MAGA to explain that. What did he do that's that special? I mean, he energized a hell of a lot of young conservatives to come and get involved in politics and vote. He was good at debating and meeting the youth. But there's people who have done far more, and they're not recognized like this. So I don't understand, and I'm trying to say it without, because I'm not holding ill will towards Charlie Kirk. What I'm saying is, but I don't understand why he is being like he's a deity or something. I don't understand why he's been elevated to that level just based on that. Other than, he was a close friend of President Trump, and I think that may have more to do with it than anything else, because his accomplishments are minimal, to some degree. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm not seeing it the right way, and I need to be educated on it. They put up a memorial for George Floyd. Yeah, and people went apeshit about that. They went apeshit about that memorial for George Floyd. In fact, President Trump is taking some of them down. So, but they're talking about doing it. I mean, and I get the comparison, because that's a great point you made there. Nothing to do, because if you don't understand why people are idolizing Charlie Kirk, we don't understand why you're idolizing George Floyd. So I can't argue with that. That is a great point, because George Floyd did not contribute anything to society either. He just got wrongfully killed. And if you talk to the right, that didn't even happen. But yeah, George Floyd did not himself contribute anything to society. So I could agree with that. He should not have been memorialized either. So I can agree with that. Let me try to bring up my other live stream. I'm just going to go straight into it, and hopefully we won't show anything else of Tyler Robinson. We'll see if we can make it work. But continuing on, real quick in the comments, he debated Professor John. That's not right, because Charlie Kirk was doing it from the time he was 18 and kept doing it. Yeah, he's a good debater, but I don't see that just being great at debating. There's a lot of people that are great at debating. Some of them probably on social media. Charlie Kirk was a bully. That's what he was, and now you guys call him a great debater. You guys are funny. Well, you could be both, John Applegate. You could actually be a bully and great at debating. So you could. Tomorrow, what ended up happening, TikTok flagged my other profile because we had a picture of Tyler Robinson, the guy that took out Charlie Kirk, holding a rifle, and TikTok flagged it for showing a firearm. So if you want, you can come back through. I'll bring you right back up. What are your thoughts on the deal made between Trump and China concerning TikTok? Very concerning, Connie. Very concerning. In fact, let me go ahead and cover that right now while we're on here talking. Once America becomes the owner of TikTok, knowing that Oracle will be in control of TikTok's algorithm and FYP. Now, we've seen what Trump has tried to do with Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, and things like that. He doesn't favor people speaking negatively of him. I don't feel confident that if America, by way of Trump, gets control of TikTok, that folks that are not speaking positively of Trump or that are criticizing Trump will get a fair shake on the platform. I don't feel confident in that. And in fact, I'll tell you right off the bat, because I can bring up callers live on Clapper, we can also bring up callers live on Facebook and on Instagram, which we have all of those platforms. If you have Instagram, Handsome Liberal is there. Yours truly. I'm also on Clapper. I'm also on Instagram, Clapper. Tim Liberal's on Facebook. Handsome Liberal is now on Rumble, X, and Truth Social. We're on all those other platforms. So what I am considering doing, because it sounds like it's going to actually go through, but once America takes control of TikTok, I probably won't be on TikTok as much. I just don't trust that. I just that if the Trump administration has control of TikTok, they're not going to be favorable to this type of forum where you can be favorable to Trump or critical of Trump. I don't believe they'll be fair. And not to mention, look, some folks are already pissed off about folks that criticize Charlie Kirk and they're calling in. So If he has, because I believe the operators of Oracle are pro-Trump people. Trump doesn't like criticism, and the right believes that that's a legitimate thing to have. They do believe there's too much negativity floating around in regards to President Trump. So we would probably end up on Clapper, Instagram, and I may take it to Rumble, or, we'll be on Facebook. We got enough cameras in front of us to keep the program going, but maybe I'll try for a short period of time and see what other folks are saying, but I don't feel confident that if the algorithm for TikTok is taken out of the hands of the Chinese and placed in the hands of a Trump loyalist, that it's going to be any more fair for all of America. I think it'll be great for MAGA and probably not so great for liberals. Anyway, looking at the comments, I think it was China. I think when China runs my apps, I don't like it. When my country runs my apps, okay, Tim. Well, let's be clear. If you're going to point that out, wasn't it President Trump being interviewed by Bill O'Reilly that was questioning U.S. intelligence and taking the intelligence of Russia over America? So I'm not the only one that does that, okay? I'm not the only one that does that. The point I'm making is China being in control of the app, they want data and information. They don't give a damn about which politician you're criticizing. That's not what they're going for. What Trump is going for is more of that. So that's the difference. We're running a political live here. I think the Trump administration would be more concerned with what we're discussing on a live like this than the Chinese government. They're more concerned with other things that may give them tactical advantage over the United States, but they're not concerned with a bunch of us talking politics. That's why I'm saying, disagree, I get it. What did the Democrats do with Facebook and Twitter? The same shit, truth hurts, the same shit. The Democrats were in control of Facebook and Twitter, and they were censoring things in that nature. That's why Elon Musk purchased Twitter and Facebook with Mark Zuckerberg lifted the bans. But they didn't make it equal. They just made it pro-Republican. They just flopped sides on it. That's all they did. They didn't make it any better. They just made it more favorable to the right instead of the left. Let me go back to the box. The truth is hard to hear, but it must be told, says Diamond Jimmy. Fair enough. Tomorrow. Let me turn the volume. I think that's what happened there. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Tim.
Yeah. Bad start. So apparently Tyler Robinson holding a weapon wasn't a good idea.
I guess so. I was like, what the heck happened? I was like, It couldn't have been what I said.
No, it took you down, and they told me it was because of display of firearms. So that was the only thing I showed was him holding that rifle. So they didn't like that. So anyway, continuing on with the program. So you do believe they're trying to have a one-party system in this country?
Yeah, and I was saying that because if you think about it, like what they're doing with the whole Antifa thing, they're saying, oh, it's a terrorist organization. So they might, let's just say hypothetically, they take a politician like Hakeem Jeffries and says, oh, you were funding Antifa and try to remove him from his seats. I could see them doing something like that. I mean, like, it's so unhinged.
Yeah, the Antifa, but just to counter this argument before I go into my response to you, psychiatric technician says Donald J. Trump is an excellent president, and we are very blessed to have him in our lives. So apparently he disagrees with what we're saying here. But I do agree with you with the Antifa thing. Once you're able to deem American citizens as terrorists, there's so many avenues.
They're not even an organization. They're just like a freaking movement.
Yeah.
From what I understand. And when's the last time you actually heard anything about Antifa? Let's be real.
That's a good question. That's a good question. We have not heard anything about Antifa operating anytime recently. So it does lead to the question: why bring?
They don't even killed anybody.
Yeah. So why bring that up now?
Yeah, because they're trying to make that move. Secretly, all their word and all their talking is saying that that's what they're going to do. But nobody's really looking into it. Nobody's really saying anything about it.
Wow. Well,
if you think about it.
Well, the thing about it is, listen, I know about the Chaz or the autonomous zone they had over on the West Coast a few years back, but in terms of really committing acts of terror, and what has Antifa done that's significant enough to elevate them to this level?
Nothing. Really, burned a couple of things. They go like if Proud Boys is beating up somewhere, they go there to be the anti rally against them.
So the counter protesters.
Yes, yeah, basically, yeah. Like I've never even really heard of Antifa until all that stuff happened with George Floyd. To be honest,
Yeah.
I never heard about it, nothing about Antifa.
Yeah, I have not. Yeah, I have not heard of Antifa doing anything of significance in the last several years. So it does pose the question: why are they gung ho about listing Antifa as a terrorist organization now? And as you pointed out, Antifa is really kind of a movement. So how do you even know if somebody is a member of Antifa?
Yeah, exactly. And that alien-looking guy, Stephen Miller, his speech that he gave was almost something out of the third rank.
Ooh.
Something straight out of the
It was strong language. I mean, why do you think they are saying they and them when it comes to taking out Charlie Kirk? They're not saying Tyler in a singular form. They're saying they and them. They're making it sound like a whole bunch of people took him out.
To justify getting rid of the Democrats. That's why they're working everything that way. They did this, they did that. Even though, from what I understand, I was listening to something on the Midas Touch, and they were saying that that Tyler Roberts is not even, that they can't even really prove him to be with any organization, any liberal organization.
Yeah, my opinion is.
The Midas Touch, he's in the Midas Touch or one like affiliated with it.
Wow. Yeah, my opinion is I don't see Tyler Robinson anywhere near as left as the right is trying to make him sound. I do believe.
I don't think it was political.
Huh?
Personally, I said I don't believe it was political. I believe he just was a confused gay kid and just didn't like the fact that Charlie Kirk was speaking up against gay people like that, and he took it upon himself to be the person to take up for homosexual rights, I guess.
Well, he did say, he did appear, according to their text messages, state that he was tired of Charlie Kirk's hate and had a chance to take him out. So he is kind of indicating that the reason he took Charlie Kirk out might have had something to do with his stance on LGBTQ issues.
But I don't believe it was anything political. I don't believe anybody souped him up to actually do the actual killing.
No, I don't. I'm not yet. The conspiracies are wild. In the comments, Ample Juice says Charlie Kirk was also a confused gay kid. Have you seen any evidence that Charlie Kirk was gay? I don't believe that.
I don't think so, but I wouldn't have been surprised if it was one of his little, you can't never put nothing past nobody these days. So
I don't think Charlie Kirk was gay. In the comments, Forever C10 says, yes, man, I have not been on TikTok since the night it cut off. That's why you haven't seen any hats and mustaches from me. YouTube only. I support. Thank you. I support her. Thank you. Well, thank you, Forever C10. So, yeah, I do see a lot of folks venturing away from TikTok if it falls in Americans' hands because they don't trust who's at the...
Isn't Rupert Murdoch,
yep.
or whatever his name is?
Rupert Murdoch through the Fox Corp will also have a stake in controlling TikTok. Yes.
But isn't Trump suing him, or that just got removed? Right? He's suing the New York Times, right?
He's suing the newspaper. Don't be surprised if all of a sudden Rupert Murdoch is involved in.
If he's suing him.
Yeah, well,
I heard something about that today, and I'm like, well, how does that work if Trump is suing?
Because don't be surprised if all of a sudden, when Rupert Murdoch is given some stake in access to TikTok, if that lawsuit goes away, maybe he's made some kind of deal. Okay, I'm suing you because your paper put out negative information about me. If I put you over this, TikTok, maybe you can make it up by making sure positive stuff about me goes out.
And from what I understand, they said that Elon and Trump was all buddy at this memorial, so they might be making up to get back together too.
Well, when somebody is worth $1 trillion, you can forgive them a little bit, right?
I guess so.
Yeah. What do you think about Trump stating that he hates his opponents and he does not wish well?
What else is new? You know what? You know one thing I forgot to say. The most dangerous people are the black matters. I've been having a lot of dealings with them, and I've been trying to they're the worst. They. Oh, we voted for this. I have a black MAGA friend. I don't even know how I can be friends with this person, but they're like, oh, we voted for this type of stuff. This is what we voted for.
You think
so you guys are just too soft and
black MAGA?
I'm like, you voted for? Yeah, they voted for this. They're okay with it. They told me that that anchor babies is not racist in his opinion. The term anchor baby is not a racist term.
Well, in anchor baby, I guess for the folks watching, how is anchor baby considered a racist term? It means you came to the United States, you gave birth to a child here, that child will get citizenship when you didn't even have the right to be here yourself legally in terms of citizenship. How is that a racist term, though?
I mean, I Googled it and it popped up as, yes, it is. It's highly racist.
I don't know. I don't see it. I mean, it's derogatory. I'm gonna agree with that because of the whole name of it. But I don't know if it's a racist term to say somebody has an anchor baby.
The way. I guess it's the way they say it. Like, oh, we don't want their anchor. They come here with their anchor and have their anchor babies and stuff like that.
Well, it ain't a friendly term. I'll just say it like that. Kind of like the whole Charlie Kirk thing where people are saying he's not a racist. I'm like, cool, but his terminology is not friendly terminology. Take it any way you want, but what he's talking about is not friendly stuff. And anchor baby is not a friendly term.
But back to your point about what he said about him hating his opponents. You heard how they was cheering it, so therefore they love it.
Yeah. Well,
you heard the crowd cheering.
Yeah, but it's Trump. It's Trump. They're gonna cheer anything Trump says.
Yeah, that's true. Because they're a cult.
Well, no, but he's in a Trump-friendly environment. I mean, they're gonna, just like when you see Charlie Kirk debates, when he is winning the debate. Yeah. Well,
and they drink gallons of orange Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I don't know about the cult thing. I listen. I know some folks are going to.
It is a cult.
Okay.
It's a cult.
So you believe MAGA is a cult?
Yes, it is a cult.
They swear up and down you're wrong.
How you support?
I
mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
That is true.
But Stevie Wonder is blind, but he can see that much.
All right, Tamar, I do got to move it on. Stevie Wonder is blind, but he can see that much. Appreciate you coming through, man.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
No doubt, Tim.
Anytime. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get the likes on up to 10,000. We had a problem with the other profile, so we are here now. Bike Downer says 100% a cult. Yikes. If MAGA is a cult, where do I get my t-shirt from? Well, I don't know where you can get your t-shirt from, but maybe I can send you a hat. I don't know. Let me know if I can send you a hat or something like that. You know, they do have some apparel out there. So, Richard, if you take religion and everything out of America, then what does it stand for at all? The whole point of being an American is having freedom of speech and beliefs. Listen, I agree with the having freedom of speech and beliefs, but if you take religion and everything, and everything is where we have the issue on Mary. But I mean, there are countries that are not very religious, and the country functions very well. I don't buy into the notion, even though I was brought up religious, I don't buy into the notion that you have to have religion to be grounded in morality, and it makes everybody better if they have a healthy fear of God. I don't tend to believe that because having lived in areas, when I lived in Australia, for instance, Australia is not a very religious country, and there was less crime and things going on there. So I just think it should be in you. You don't need to be told thou shalt not kill, or you should just know that. I think it's already in you. You know whether you read the Bible or not that taking a life is wrong. So that's just my take on it. But a lot of folks do believe that you need a healthy amount of religion, a healthy amount of Christianity, belief in God to strengthen morality. Looking in the comments, though, What do the MAGAs got to say about Jimmy coming back? Let's talk about it. Let's talk. Jimmy Kimmel is back as of tomorrow. I'm going to tell you right off the bat before we go to the next caller. I think this is somewhat embarrassing for President Trump. Now, some of you may disagree with me on this, but remember, Trump is used to winning. Trump has been winning a whole lot. Courts, political, I mean, you name it, Trump has been doing nothing but winning. To me, this one is a loss because they got rid of Jimmy Kimmel, and literally the outrage and protest is likely what brought him back. He didn't have to apologize. He didn't, they were asking for him to provide. They were actually demanding that he gives a healthy check to the Kirk family. They wanted him to pay money and apologize for that. He ain't done none of that. He has done none of that. In fact, Trump and his supporters were saying things like Jimmy Kimmel's not funny, his ratings are pathetic, and he was costing ABC money. They were losing money having him on television. That's why they got rid of him. Same thing they said about Stephen Colbert. If that is true, he's losing money, he's not funny, nobody's watching him, then why would they bring him back? Why would they bring him back? So that shows that whole claim is likely not true. That he is not an issue. It's not an issue that he has low ratings, he's not funny, and nobody's watching, or that they're losing money. They wouldn't bring him back. He's gone. They can just give him a few $1 million, buy him out or whatever, and leave him where he's at. The fact that they're bringing him back shows there's something else to that. So to me, this is a loss to, or better yet, an embarrassment to President Trump, because the people have risen up and overturned something that he wanted done. And just from a standpoint of violation of free speech, everybody knew what this was about. Let me go back to the box, but I think everybody kind of knew what this was about, and it was not about the whole claim that nobody was watching this guy. Dean, I'm not going to be able to pronounce the last name, but Dean, good evening. Welcome to the program. So what do you think about this, Dean, with Jimmy Kimmel coming back? Is this good for America? Did Disney get this wrong?
Best thing in America.
Explain.
Kimmel tells it like it is. He doesn't hold back on what Trump is saying, which is good.
Wow.
What Trump says is bad. Now let me add, I want to talk about something else instead of Kimmel. Now, there are 27 amendments, right?
Yes.
Okay, what's the number one? Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech.
Why do you think number one, freedom of speech? And this motherfucker wants to take it away. You can't say what you want.
Well, they're denying that, though. They're denying that.
Whoa. Back then, they didn't want a king. October 18th is coming up. It'll be no King's Day. It'll be the biggest event in America.
You know something, Dean? This is our first time talking, I believe. I really was expecting you to be MAGA. I didn't think. I thought you were going to be MAGA.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
No chance, huh?
I told you before. We spoke before. I told you I hate that man.
Why?
Remember that?
I think I do now that you're saying it.
Now, okay, my wife had a stroke 2.5 years ago. So I did what I had to do to make it good for my wife. She's in a wheelchair. So a month ago, she had knee surgery. The day before the surgery, we get a phone call saying the insurance denied the surgery.
Wow.
So I called the doctor and asked him, what are we going to do? So he did what he had to do, so she had the surgery. She's in the hospital for a week, okay?
Okay.
So I had 5 different choices for rehab. 3 of them were denied because of the insurance. So my wife's been in this rehab now. It'll be 3 weeks Thursday. So as of Friday, she gets an email Saturday morning. As of Friday, her coverage on her rehab has been canceled.
Whoa.
So I'm paying for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It's over almost $600 a day coming out of my pocket.
Why is this happening?
Why is this happening? Because of what's happening with the insurance companies.
You don't fault Trump for this, though, do you?
She's on the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare.
Right.
The Affordable Care Act is not affordable. I'm paying almost $600 for the Affordable Care Act. And I have all the deductibles for medication and so on and so forth that go along with it.
So did Obama screw your wife over then? Is it Obama's? This is Obama that did this then, right?
Yeah, Obama started the Affordable Care Act. But what I'm trying to say is Trump says he has a plan to make the insurance better. He's going to do away with it, just like he's going to do it with Medicaid. He's going to do it with Medicaid. He's got the food stamps, blah, blah. He's destroying America, that motherfucker.
Yeah. So you see Trump as just...
I'm on a fixed income. I'm a disabled veteran, a Vietnam veteran, and then they already fired, 85,000 people. I'm having mental problems, and I can't even see a psychiatrist. I see one, but once every 2 months, 3 months, and I need her more. But there's no psychiatrist. They're all fired.
May I ask, what part of the country are you in? And thank you for your service. Thank you for your service, man. Even though my dad was part of the Vietnam conflict. What part of the country you're in?
I live in New Hampshire.
Wow. Anything this?
Said something about Medicaid. Okay, I had a great paying job. I made over $30 an hour, so I made good money. So my wife, of course, had to leave her job because she had a stroke. And as a matter of fact, one side is completely blocked, and the other side of her neck is 50% blocked. So, try to have a conversation with her is very difficult. But my point is, Trump wants to do away with everything.
Why do you think okay, if what you're saying is true, why do you think he's doing that?
I wouldn't lie to you. I wouldn't.
You're lying. I'm just simply saying, why do you think, the reason why I'm saying if that is true is because, of course, Trump and MAGA is going to deny that. But I'm asking you, why do you think he wants to do that if that's the case?
I have no idea. Look at the deficit right now, $37 trillion. Probably more than that today.
Yeah.
So he's feeding the rich. What about, like I wrote earlier, an average Joe? I'm less than average Joe. I'm living off my Social Security and my disability. And my wife, since she's not of age to get Medicare, I got lucky. I married a younger woman. Married 42 years.
Wow.
I love for her. Unconditional. She'd do the same thing for me. What's going on with her? And back to the rehab, she's crying her eyes out. Dean, I got to get out of here. We can't afford to pay $600 a day. Okay, Beth, so tomorrow I'm going to get you out of here. I can care for you myself. So we have the facilities, but yet I don't know what to do.
Is there anything, have you talked to any of your state legislators?
Not yet.
I would say try to find out if there's any, because you live in a liberal state, New Hampshire. That's a liberal state, right?
For the most, we have a Republican governor. She's doing okay. I would never say that about a Republican, but they are doing okay.
The reason why I'm saying that is because some of the liberal states are starting to put in programs to thwart what Trump is doing in terms of not, getting rid of healthcare and things like that. But that's in the red areas, they're backing Trump. But in the liberal areas, they're starting to put in backup entitlement plans in place because they see what's coming down the pipe. But if you're in a state with a Republican governor, I don't necessarily know but I would say state legislators, there may be something out there.
Charlie Pappas is my congressman. Jean Shaheen, Ayotte, she's Republican. But anyway, my point was before, as far as me trying to get Medicaid, I made too much money. So I waited 2 years. I went back because I didn't work for 2 years because I'm collecting. I went back to the Medicaid office, and from what I make with my Social Security, this is too much. In the state of New Hampshire, we don't have a sales tax or an income tax, so they don't get that extra income for the state. So that's why the numbers are so low on how much you make. It's not my fault.
No, it's just. I just think if you. Yeah, I just think if you've actually served during combat or during a war on behalf of the nation, this shit should not even, they shouldn't even come to you for this. I mean, there should be something in place so that you don't even have to deal with nothing like this, because Trump promised that he was going to stop sending money overseas and getting us involved in other shit and focus on taking care of Americans first. You are an American and you're clearly not being taken care of. So this goes counter to what he campaigned on.
Yeah. Everything he's saying, everything he's doing is not for the American people. It's for his, I don't want to go along with that cliche, okay, taking care of the billionaires, but he is, the average person is not getting a fair shake. So I had to get some blood drawn today, and so she gives me the paper. She says, you owe quite a bit of money for medical stuff, and can you pay anything? I said, I'm broke as a joke. I can't pay you any money. So she gave me an envelope, which will help me. Well, it's an avenue to go to help me get some of the money subsidized through the hospital because of grants that they give to the hospital. But I'm drowning, brother. I'm drowning.
My God, I mean, this is. I mean, I guess like I said, man, it's terrible, man. I don't, my heart goes. I don't want to sound like Elon, but my heart goes out hearing this. But first thing I would say is talk to your state legislators. This guy. I mean, are you? Well, New Hampshire don't have a lot of big cities, because I would say also even at your local city level as well. But you don't have a lot of big cities in that state. But certainly,
we got Nashua and Manchester. That's the biggest cities, and where I live. It's a small little town called Swansea, New Hampshire. Next town next to me is Keene, and they probably have 50,000 people. That's nothing versus these big cities. And
yeah, I've been to Keene. It's a beautiful area up there. I've actually been in that town. Man, like I said, when I say talk to your state legislators, you almost need to see if you can figure out a way of being able to meet them. Even the town. Even if you're in a small town. Talk to those city legislators and see if they can hook you up with somebody higher. But you need folks to hear this story. With you being a veteran, there may be something out there. I'm not certain of that, but the fact that you were a veteran going through something like this, there may be some avenue out there, but your story needs to be told. It needs to be heard.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. We have spoken a long time ago, months ago, and my life has been miserable. My daughter's going through a divorce with a crack addict, and not verbal, but physical abuse and blah, blah. My plate is on the floor. Everything's falling on the floor, and I can't even pick it up. It's so heavy.
My God, man. What about have you been to the VA?
Well, I go to the VA for my medical and my psychiatric. I'm not going to call it. Yeah, it's a problem. I have a mental problem going on with everything that's happening. And, I went to church to light a candle for my wife. I lit it. I was crying my eyes out. So the priest came over. He said, "Can I talk to you?" It hurt, man.
Your story. You need to get your story out, man, to as many people as you can. I have
no reason to lie, Tim. I have no reason to lie.
No, I don't think. Regardless, I got people watching on all sides today. I don't think anybody believes you're lying. I don't think anybody believes you're lying. I mean, you sound as sincere as they come. I don't believe anybody. First of all, what you're telling me, there's no reason to make up a story like that. There's nothing to gain in doing so.
No.
Yeah, there's not. You gotta stay strong, but the key to salvation, the key to hope for you is as many people as possible need to hear what you're going through. You need people to hear your story. That is, I hate to say it, but even people in neighboring states, if you can get in touch with a congressman or something, I get that you're not in their jurisdiction, but the more people your story. Hell, there may be some liberals that just want to use you as political capital and they may help you out. You need for people to hear your story. That's I'm going to start by saying, get a nice letter, or not, type up a nice letter on, on any medium talking about internet, and find all of the email addresses you can find for those congressmen in your area, the mayors of some of those small towns, the VA themselves. I mean, if you got a little time on your hands, once you type it once, you can cut it and paste it and send it to everyone. You just need the right one person to hear that. You just need the right one person to hear your story.
Isaiah Martin knows my story. Dan Malik knows my story. Pickles knows my story. I've told people, and they say, do this, do that. The only thing I haven't done was gone through the state. Even when my wife had the stroke, I extinguished my 401 for a ramp. I had to have somebody come and do my house, make it wheelchair worthy. I had to put a new shower in, wheelchairs. I mean, I probably spent almost $30,000 for my wife. Wow. And I mean, I got a little bit left, very, very little, but
you're not going to maintain anything going through this.
No, let me tell you right now, my safety net is $26,000 for the rest of my life that I don't touch. That's peanuts, man. I'm 72 years old, and my wife, if another catastrophe happens, I might as well put the noose around my neck, man.
Don't talk like that, man.
So I had to go to the VA for my cardiology because I got a call. I get a defibrillated pacemaker. I had a quadruple bypass. I've had 3 heart attacks. And they told me my defibrillator was reading that I had fluid around my heart. I was so upset with life, I stopped taking all my pills for 2 weeks. I'm in trouble, man.
What about your local news outlet?
It's a rag paper. It's a rag paper. Tim, I don't know what to do.
There is an answer out there. You can't give up. I mean, for the sake of your wife, for the sake of your own spirit, you didn't fight for this country to come home and take yourself out, man. You didn't do that. I get how you feel. I'm not going to pretend like I know anything remotely close to what you're going through, man. I'm really sympathizing with you. I can hear the emotion coming through, but you can't give up. It just takes that one contact to hear your story. But who knows how many people you may have to tell this to before you get to that one person. You can't give up, man. You cannot give up.
Man, as we're talking, tears just rolling down my face.
Do you have somebody in the comments asked the question, do you have a social worker at the VA?
I haven't looked for one because I try to be strong on my own. And
this is not a battle you're gonna win on your own. This is not a battle you're gonna win on your own. You're gonna need some help, man. You're gonna need some help.
I wouldn't know where to begin with a VA. I wouldn't know where to even start with a VA.
Do you have doctors at the VA?
Oh yeah.
Tell them the story and tell them you would like. Ask them about a social worker. Ask them, can you get a liaison? They can put you to something like that.
Well, my cardiologist, I told him the story, man, and he just about had tears coming out of his eyes. And he was just listening. He tried to be strong, but he cried with me, man. I'm lost. That's the bottom line. I am lost. And I told them I don't have to call the VA hotline. I haven't got there yet, and I hope I don't have to.
Yeah, you can't. This is not a pull yourself up by your bootstrap story. You're going to need help. You're not going to be. I mean, clearly you can't do this alone. I'm
freaking losing. Oh shit.
Man.
All I do is just fucking cry all the time. And I gotta hold my head up. Stand up, man.
You gotta reach out, man. Like I said, I mean, I know I don't have the answer because I can't even remotely ascertain what you're going through, man. But you got to get your story out. You cannot just take all of this on your own. This burden is killing you, as we can all tell. You got to reach out, man. Like I said, start out by looking for more assistance at the VA. I would suggest, like when somebody mentioned trying to get yourself an agent or a liaison at the VA, I would start there, but as many people as you can get your story out to, you need to do that.
I'll do that, man. Thank you.
Dean,
I'm on there, so I gotta drop down because I'm losing it hard. I'll come back.
Anytime you need somebody to talk to, man. Thank you for calling. Take care, man. Take care.
Love you guys. The good word.
Same. How do we go back to talking about politics after that? That's horrible. Now, what Dean is going through, and I mean, obviously he's no fan of President Trump, but I don't think that, I'm not even certain that if Kamala Harris or Joe Biden had won, he wouldn't be going through that. It's just our government is not favorable to taking care of folks who need help. I'm not necessarily sure that they would have fixed this either. I'm just not sure. The way our government is set up, now it is true that at least President Trump seems to favor the wealthy more than the downtrodden, but I don't look at Biden or Kamala Harris and say, well, they were going to help everybody out also. I don't know. This is horrible. This is horrible. I see Gangsta Grandma said it is because of Trump. He didn't say that, though. Now, he does believe that Trump is getting rid of programs that may help him out. So Trump is going to make his situation worse. But I'm not for sure that he wouldn't be in a bind even under a second Biden term. It's just the way our system is set up. Someone suggested the Red Cross. American Legions, that's what I was trying to think of. American Legion, if you're listening, Dean, man, American Legion is another one. I mean, get around some veterans. Surely there are others, particularly from, you're going back to the Vietnam War. You're not the only one going through this. You're not the only one going through this. Don't do it alone. Reach out for whatever help you can get. Reach out for whatever help you can get. Somebody said also the United Way, the VFW, I see in there. I mean, there's a lot of folks that are providing information. Wow. Man. I'm going to try to get back on track with the program. That was heartbreaking. I believe that man 100%. I don't believe there's any reason to come on a program and make something up like that. I just don't believe that. We get some very sincere calls like that. Gangsta Grandma, which is one of my more passionate callers, she came on one time because her husband has went through some stuff. I mean, this is what can happen on a program. This is the product of live broadcasting. Things can come through live, and it is what it is. Just anyway, going back to the program, Dean, stay up, man. Stay up. Stay strong. Don't give up. Going back to the program, it doesn't make sense, all the money they throw on BS. So speaking of money being thrown on BS, I meant to ask this question in my YouTube shorts and things like that. I'll certainly ask it now, because of what just happened on the program. How many folks believe the taxpayer money spent to give a Super Bowl security level protection to the memorial of Charlie Kirk was worth it? That was taxpayer money that provided all of that security to secure that whole event at Super Bowl level security. How many folks believe that was taxpayer money well spent when you got a gentleman phoning in, a veteran, saying what you just heard? He's not getting help. But Charlie Kirk, who has never served a day in the military on behalf of this country, millions were probably spent making sure his memorial. You think Dean is going to get treated like that when he passes away by the military? Millions of dollars were spent on that. That's money that could have helped out Dean's wife and a host of other veterans. Not to mention just the flyover over Putin's head when he was standing on the red carpet in Alaska would have taken care of Dean's wife for the rest of his life. Just that flyover. To have aircraft fly over Vladimir Putin's head in Alaska would have covered that. I'm a vet. I help myself, says Dirty Money. Well, you help yourself if you can. I mean, look, most of us cannot handle. He's talking about having a wife in rehab or in some kind of facility. If you end up toward the end of your life, you end up in hospice or something like that. If you don't have some kind of serious high coverage insurance, that shit will break you. That can go through all of the money you saved throughout your working years. That shit will break you. Flags have staff. Yeah, flags have staff and everything. Meanwhile, you got a veteran calling in with a heartbreaking story like that. Let me go back to the bots. And I agree with the comment. Somebody said everybody does not have bootstraps. Continuing on though with the program, that was hard. That was real hard. And I believe genuine as can be. Gangsta grandma.
I can't. Oh no, me and you're gonna fucking fight right now. We are.
How did you do that after that last call?
Get the fuck. I'm gonna choke you the fuck out on God. How dare you go blame Obama? Oh, that was that Obama? No, bitch. You know what it was? It was Trump and his all little maggots that voted for his shit. ABA, all that. What he was saying, they're coming and they're cutting the shit. That was because of Trump. And you sorry piece of shit maggots. That's what you got. You're fucking the damn vets over.
So you're saying that if Trump did not impose cuts on Obamacare, my last caller would have been okay.
Yes! Over $1 trillion fucking dollars he cut. He did Obamacare. He cut. His wife, yes, his wife is being fucked in the ass. Him, he's being fucked. They did it to them. So don't be with your smirky ass thinking that. Yeah, that's what you got your cock in your mouth. I'm so sick of your shit.
No.
I know what I'm talking about. They all voted for this shit. And that's who you guys voted for. You fucked the damn vets over. Fuck you guys.
Do you believe that MAGA intentionally voted for somebody to be in a predicament?
Yes. He told them what he was doing. They told them.
I don't think MAGA voted to fuck the vets over against
Yes,
them.
they did. He told them. When he was in the campaign, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, he said it. What do you fucking think? What the fuck do you think Medicare going to do?
Trump said...
Yeah, bitch, because you know what? My husband was a vet, too.
Trump stated...
My husband died for this sorry-ass country. He fucking died for this shit.
I am aware that your husband, I get what you're saying.
And guess what that man did? He's 70 fucking years old, and he has to pay for his wife because you have a fucking moron in office.
But Trump promised Gangsta.
Don't butt me shit.
I'm trying to have a conversation with you.
You don't know shit about the vets. Go get educated. They fucked him. And they said they're about the fucking vets? No, they're not. $180 billion they took from them.
Trump stated that he was going to take care of Americans first.
Oh, fuck you. Hold on. Oh, wait. Tons of video online disability crime. Bitch, you can't. You know what, Jeremy? You're such a coward. You didn't even serve for this country. You fucking dishwashing ass bitch. Don't ever come for these vets. You don't know shit what they fucking going through.
Okay, I agree with you that they should not come for the vets.
They are, though. That's what they voted for. Kim, this is what they voted for. They fucking the vets over. They fucking the poor people over. They fucking everybody that's on fucking the Obamacare. They're fucking them over.
Why do you think MAGA doesn't have it?
Oh, people playing, people scamming. Get the fuck. Go serve the military. You sorry ass white trash.
Wait a minute. Don't fuck around and say something crazy. Wait, hold on.
No, that's Jeremy. I can say that shit. He's out here talking shit about the vets. Oh, they're scamming him? Get the fuck out of here. He put his life on the line. And you guys are coming for them.
You do realize...
Yeah, she said Obamacare. That's what they're cutting to. What do you think Obamacare is, you dumb fucks?
You do realize MAGA are patriots. They care about this country.
No, you know what? No, bitch, they're not. Because you know why? He told them he was coming for them. They told them they was coming for the vets. They ain't shit.
What did
So fuck you.
what did Trump say during his campaign to indicate he was coming for the veterans?
You know what Trump said? Everybody knew what he was going to do. He lied to everybody. You know what? Actually, he did tell them that he wanted to reform, he wanted to reform Medicaid and shit. That's what he said. He said it. He said it.
I don't.
And you know what? He said, "Oh, we're never gonna touch them. We're never gonna touch them. We're never gonna touch the fucking damn vets." Well, he did though.
Why do you think? Why do you think?
Liar. Go look this shit up.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Dean. Why do you believe President Trump would deliberately put the veterans in this painful
Because
position?
he don't give a damn, you dumbass. What the fuck are you asking me a stupid question like that? He don't give a fucking damn. All the thing he gives a damn is about the rich people.
There are plenty of MAGA veterans, gangster.
Well, guess what? They're gonna get fucked in the ass without a condom. Because if you think he's the only one, you think he's the only one that's gonna be fucked? Oh, they're coming. It's coming. And a lot of it's coming right after the midterms. So people, get the fuck out and vote. Vote blue all the way fucking down.
How about this? In the comments, Greg Betts says that Trump gives his salary to the vets, $450,000 a year.
Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? You sorry son of a bitches. See, that's how dumb. That's how you drinking his cum all up in your mouth. You sorry pieces of shit. That's what you guys did. Really? Really? Why is the vets crying on here saying they'll be as fucked? Huh? Go look. $1 trillion is being taken.
The man said, Jeremy.
Fuck you, the man. You know what? He's telling you the fucking truth. They taking the shit from them.
Why don't you have? If
Oh
what?
no, bitch! You don't want to debate me. Oh no, Jim. Oh no. Because I'll take your fucking little dick that you got and shove it up your own ass.
Do you want to talk to him? Do you want to talk to him?
Oh, but you don't want me to do that. I would tear that bitch up. I would tear that bitch up.
I think you guys can be
tear
cool.
that bitch
I think you guys can.
No, I'm not gonna be cordial with the white trash charge like that.
Don't call him that. He's a man.
No.
Okay, hold on.
Because he's on that shit that he's fucking. Shut the fuck up, Jeremy. You kiss my black ass.
Let him talk. Okay, Jeremy, what do you want to say?
He's not gonna
Gangster, hold
First
on.
off, I don't believe anecdotes from people I don't even know, so I don't even know how honest that guy was being. But also, there are plenty of.
What?
You can search YouTube in 5 seconds and find 64 different videos all about how to get 100% disability from the VA.
Jeremy, not Jeremy. Gangster Grandma, you gotta let me hear the guy. Hold on, let me hear the guy. What did you say?
You didn't say that man's lying.
Let me hear. Okay, let me hear him though. You're talking over him. Let me hear him. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Oh no, big. Oh, I'm gonna tell both y'all bitches.
Hey
out.
Tim, do me a favor. Look up of how to get 100% disability on YouTube. You will find it within seconds.
It doesn't matter. They're taking it from them. You stupid fuck. Do you
Here we go.
understand it? They are taking it from them. You special ed fucking dropout. They don't give a damn.
Gangster, you want to host this program like
He
this?
is 100%, but they're taking it. His wife is on Obamacare. They're taking it. They're cutting the shit from them.
But you still gotta let me hear what the man has to say.
You know what?
You know what's funny? I got more of an education washing dishes than she did going to school. She probably didn't even graduate.
Oh yeah, you do, bitch. That's why you voted to get your own interest. You're $15 damn, and you think that bitch is over there gonna like your ass.
That's okay. I'm getting my CDL anyway, so I'm gonna be making more.
Okay, look, I might have to mute one of y'all. Okay.
You're not even on his fucking level. I could be at his table before
No,
you.
let us spaz out.
No, this is not the kind of. We don't run a shop like this. I want to make.
Jim, he's lying to you.
Listen.
I know that being guy
Gangster.
definitely is lying.
Hold on. Even if he's lying, he has a right to free speech. You can't just silence the man. Let me read what I got here in front of me. This is the AI overview. And I typed in on Google how to get 100% disability. AI is saying to achieve 100% disability rating from the Veterans Administration, you must demonstrate service-connected disabilities that are severe enough to qualify either through extreme conditions like loss of. Now, this is for his wife too, by the way. And by the way, also he mentioned drugs, so that's not going to be a service-related disability.
It doesn't matter if he's 100%. They're taking the money from them. What you motherfuckers don't get. He can be 100% disabled, you dumb fucks. But they're still taking the money from them.
Grandma, calm down. Go get your applesauce, okay?
Yes,
Thanks.
you know what? You know what, Jeremy? Now you think it's funny, don't you?
All right, okay, Jeremy, you're getting diabolical. Hang on. That laugh is diabolical. Hold on, I'm I'm googling while we're speaking.
Okay. I'm fucking right. They're taking $1 trillion from them, from Medicaid, Medicare. They're taking Obama. They're stripping that shit. That's why we're trying to tell you. It doesn't matter if he's 100%.
Okay.
What's it saying that
They're taking it from them.
Calm down, sweetheart.
No,
We need
don't
to.
call me sweetheart, you sorry ass cracker ass.
Okay, all right.
You motherfucker.
Okay, Gangsta, I gotta drop you. I gotta. Gangsta, you're always welcome on the program, but we losing civility here. See the comments. Yabo says she's crashing out. She's passionate. She has a husband that passed away that served this country. She's passionate. I invite passion, but we're not having a conversation if you guys are just talking all over each other. She's cussing you out. Dean wants to come back.
That's okay. Maybe she preferred pumpkin. I don't know.
Okay, I don't. Now you trying to
Okay.
to cue it up real quick. My last caller, just briefly. I can only do this for a quick. We're way off the topic, but my last caller, in regards to what you're saying, wants to talk to you briefly. Dean, go.
Let's do it.
Hey, Jeremy, I have a question.
Yeah.
Why would I lie like that? You don't believe what I'm saying?
Sympathy, potential money. You said you had a GoFundMe, didn't you? I saw that in the comments.
No. I said maybe I should start a GoFundMe. I don't have a GoFundMe. I've never had a GoFundMe. I'm doing this on my own. I have no reason to lie, Jeremy.
Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know you.
Why would you go to that route, Jeremy? Why would you? That makes you look like some of the stuff Gangsta Grandma was calling you. Why would you go to that route to first assume that this man would come on here and lie about this?
Do you know who Andy Stumpf is?
He ain't Andy Stump. I don't give a fuck who that is. You got me sounding like Gangsta Grandma.
No.
He is not that dude. He's not him.
Andy Stumpf is a former Navy SEAL who exposed a huge part of the VA system and how it scams on a pretty regular basis.
This is I got rid of Gangsta. I got rid of Gangsta Grandma and you come up and say this. You actually validating her, man. Come on now. I get people can lie, but that shouldn't be the first thing you think of when you hear a veteran saying they need help.
You know what? Let's be charitable here then. Let's be charitable here.
You're doing anything
Okay,
but.
Dean. I know. I'll start right now. Dean, what was your MLS?
I was
Okay, fair enough. So
unfortunately, I didn't get an A school. I went aboard ship. I didn't get an A school. So I told him my dad owned a restaurant and I knew how to cook. So I went aboard ship. I says, I know nothing about the Navy, just want to learn the boot camp. And all I know how to do that I could benefit the ship is I know how to cook.
Okay, so you were a Navy man.
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay, I can respect that. And so now it's starting to sound a little bit more legible.
It was sounding legible to begin with, you ask me.
No, but Jeremy, I don't understand why would you even begin granted, I never went to Vietnam. I was doing the Vietnam era from 71 to 75. I volunteered for Vietnam. And they also had openings in Greece. I speak fluent Greek. So when the Sixth Fleet went to Greece, I was the interpreter aboard ship, also doing my job.
Okay, and well, here's why I'd question it. I've met plenty of people who have actually scammed the government before, and people who lie about their service. Even people who are influencers who actually have big name.
What do you think he said? He got bone spurs or something?
I'm just saying, and you always got to question this stuff. You always got to question
Man.
it. There are a lot of people, like, for instance, there's a guy known as John McPhee, ex-Green Beret, who lied about most of his service. So did Tim Kennedy.
Okay.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
They were 18 X-rays, but they definitely lied about on their tours.
If I need help and the first thing that come to mind is you start questioning on whether I'm lying or not, my first thought about you, Jeremy, is you're not an ally. You're not going to help me out. I mean, you're too busy making sure I'm not fraudulent. I would steer clear of you immediately the minute you started asking that. Dean, what are you trying to say here?
And one thing, I'm not a liar. I was brought up good. I was brought up hard. I was brought up good. I got the belt. I learned respect, and I teach my kids good. I've never put a hand on my daughter. My voice is stronger than my hand. But anyway, man, I can't believe you thinking I'm lying about what's going on. Everything I told you is
Yeah.
I put my life.
Yeah, I'm going to move the show forward. I believe you, Dean, 100%. This obviously is not what we were going to talk about. Jeremy, I think a young man like yourself, having not served the military, best term, you're out of line, in my opinion, man. You out of line. That's just disrespectful. That's disrespectful as hell. I got to move it on, though.
I'm out of line at all.
I know you don't think you out of line. I know you don't think it. You ever heard of the phrase respect? You ever been told respect your elders? You ever heard of that phrase, Jeremy?
Yeah.
This ain't that. What you're doing is not that. What you're doing is absolutely not that.
So, Jeremy, do you think I'm lying?
I'm just a little suspicious.
What do you?
Hey, here's what matters more. Here's what matters more. If you're telling the truth,
Jeremy, any question you have, I will answer you.
I'm not even. Listen, I'm gonna move it on. You don't have. First of all, he's not in position to help you. So you're verifying your information to the wrong person. That's the first thing. But I'm not even gonna let that happen. I gotta move it on from both of you guys and get back to the topic. Dean, no, you're going through enough. Don't worry about shit you hear here. You're always welcome back. The door's always open to you. But nevertheless, I do got to move the program on, though. Thank you for coming back.
Tim.
All right, Jeremy. Appreciate it. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. Get the program on up to 30,000. I don't like that. I don't. And this is common though. The right and the left have a different mindset on helping the downtrodden. What Jeremy did is very common on the right. You know, if you give a woman food stamps, she's just gonna have more kids. I mean, that is the way. What he did is quite common for the right. That is the reason why they're against a lot of entitlement programs, is that they focus on fraud. I'd rather not help people out because somebody fraudulent may be getting help that they don't deserve. That is, what he said is very much in line with his politics. The liberals, on the other hand, they've never met somebody who asked for help that didn't need it. So yeah, if you want to defraud the system, you are better off going to a liberal for help because they're likely to help you and they trust everybody that's asking for help, which does open them up to being, victims of fraud. But the right, they're going to view you as potentially being somebody that's committing fraud first. You got to go a long way to prove that you actually need help. You've seen what he did immediately on somebody that had served the military, 70-some years old, and the first thing he's thinking is, this guy got a GoFundMe page. He's making up shit. Starts asking about his MOS and all of that. Wow. Jeremy's, you're not even 30 years old. Wow. Anyway, tap the screen and get the likes up. I'm not going to help someone that don't want to help themselves, says More Crew. I don't think you're going to help people out that do want to help themselves. If a person needs help, there's always a way to twist it to the point of they're not doing enough to get themselves out of it. You can always say that. You come across a homeless person, you ain't doing enough to get yourself out of this predicament. In other words, it's kind of my opinion on the right when it comes to helping the downtrodden out is it's a party with a motto of don't ask me for shit. It's just, to me, that's the motto of the right, is don't ask me for shit. I don't even care if you're actually going to work every day. You need a minimum wage increase? Don't ask me for shit. You need to figure it out and go to another job that's gonna pay you well. Don't ask me for shit. I ain't even got your back if you working. You want health care from your employer? Don't ask me for shit. You need to figure out and find another employer that's gonna give it to you. No matter what you ask for, there's always a comeback as to why I shouldn't have to give it to you. Don't ask me for shit. And you're the party of laundering money, says Keith. So you do realize by countering with the left as a party of laundering money, you're not even defending the right. You're just deflecting back over to the left. Anyway, going back to the box, I never said don't help vets. I'm talking about regular people on Section 8 and food stamps. Bro, you're not saying it, but you see what's in the comments. Dirty money good for you, but shit happens and we should help when it does. I tend to agree with that. If it's something physical, then you can go ahead and continue. If not, if it's another child, well then we've already paid for the first one, planned better. I don't understand how the same party that would say stuff like that calls themselves pro-life. Even if the mom is 100% irresponsible, just keeps popping out kids she can't afford, the kids ain't got shit to do with that. The kids ain't got nothing to do with the way they were born. But in effort to punish the mom for being irresponsible, you're going to starve the kid? Make that make sense. Pro-life, huh? All right, let me go back to the box. We're going to go back to the actual topic of the show. This went way off track. That is the product of live TV, but it did go off track. Nothing I can do about that. Tim, you handled that whole mess with class. I try, Kennedy. Appreciate that. I try. It's rough sometimes. God is watching how you treat God's people. I don't think God would like the United States if that's the case, because we are a capitalist country. We focus on making money. America First, for instance, we're going to stop helping out people overseas. USAID, they estimate thousands of people have died now that we don't send money to help out poor people overseas. We are a rich country saying we're only going to take care of our own people. I don't think there's a God out there that would say that's a good idea. You know, that's what I would do. No, I don't see it that way. Gen X, good evening. Welcome to the program. Yes, you are going to help people out there who don't want to help themselves because it's supposed to be in your heart. Help you supposed to get from the heart, not from the hip. I like that. Gen X, good evening.
What's going on, Tim? Let me start this out by saying, Dean, God bless you, brother. God bless you. Thank you for your service. We're on completely opposite sides of the political spectrum, but I wish you well, my friend. I hope you and your wife, you find a way to make it work. And the other one you can hit up is Habitat for Humanity. That's a very, very good organization. They like to help vets. They like to help people that are kind of down on their luck. So keep your head up, brother.
Yeah, and that's what I was telling them. The more people that hear your story, and he responded by thanking you for that. Just more, as many vets, particularly American Legion, VFW. I saw people posting that. Ask for an agent in the VA. The more people that can hear his story, the more chance that there will be a sympathetic ear out there. Obviously, you don't want to contact somebody like Charlie Kirk, who said empathy is a. What did he say about empathy? You don't want to contact somebody who believes that. But you do want to contact somebody who has empathy. So I do agree that the more people that he gets the story out to, the more likely he will increase his chance for success. But what do you think about Jeremy suggesting that he might have been an act of fraud?
I don't think that's for him to decide. The man sounded sincere.
Yeah.
I took it as legit. Oh, until I can prove somebody wrong with facts, I'm not going to cry. That's hard shit to go through, especially medical bills, laying out 30 G's for his wife. You know, Tim, you know, last year I spent a lot of time in the hospital, almost 7 months. I thank God I had the resources to cover that. And people that just don't have it, man, you can't thumb your nose at them and fucking make them feel worse than it. Look what the guy said. You know, I want to get a rope. Come on, man.
But I gotta ask you though. But I do have to ask you, Gen X, for you saying that people do, like you said, you were in a position to cover a lengthy hospital stay, but you did mention people who don't have that, how bad it would be. The question of why would you vote for Trump? You know Trump is not being sympathetic to people like that.
Because I believe in a lot more of what Trump stands for than what I believe on the left. and I told you this before, I don't agree with everything Trump says or does. I just don't. But I think he's the best man for the job. And I think so far, he hasn't done bad. I don't agree with his backing of Israel. In fact, I really dislike that, and me and my friends disagree about that. But that's okay. We're American. We're allowed to disagree.
Okay. But I mean, the things that he's doing that you don't agree with are likely getting people killed, putting people through misery, like the healthcare program we're talking about, stuff like that. You're mentioning Israel. This is stuff that people are dying behind.
Well, you know, again, he's the lesser of two evils, in my opinion.
What about the other? Let's take Joe Biden and Kamala Harris out of it. I get that I would not expect you to vote for them. But what about the other 9 Republicans, the Ron DeSantis, the Viveks, Chris Christie? Why not one of them?
Because they're puppets. They're puppets, and they can be bought. Trump's already a billionaire. The man can't be bought.
Really?
He does what he wants, when he wants to do it, says what he wants. He has no filter, and I like that. And again, you don't agree with him, but at least you know where the fuck he stands.
Yeah, but when you say he can't be bought, the guy becomes president and making money is all he has been doing. I mean, receiving free jets, selling shoes, selling Bibles. I mean, that's all the guy has been doing while being president. Is we said we wanted a businessman to run this country, and that's all he's been doing is running the country like a business and pocketing all this wealth. But yet he doesn't need money. He sure don't seem like he don't need money. Got his own crypto and everything.
How do you know he's been pocketing all this wealth? You have some evidence of that?
Seriously?
You can make confused Tim look, but do you got evidence of that, bruh?
You're gonna tell me you're gonna tell me if me and my wife both create our own crypto, you don't think we're making any money off of that at all?
I hope you are.
Come on now. You think if I'm selling shoes and Bibles while I'm in the White House, I'm not making any money off of that at all?
I would hope you are if you're putting the effort.
Okay then, so why do you need proof? You're admitting that you believe he's pocketing money.
But he's not pocketing it off the expense of ill-gotten gains. He's doing something legit. He's making shoes. He's doing this. He's doing that. That's legitimate business, man.
No.
That's what makes I'm gonna shock you real quick. And I will never say something like this again. Probably as long as we know each other.
Okay.
I agree with Gangsta Grandma on something. That Dean should start a GoFundMe. I think that's a wonderful idea. That's a great idea. Gangsta Grandma, props. I still think you're a freaking freak, and I think you're white, but I think that's a wonderful idea.
Well, I do agree with the GoFundMe. I mean, he could post that on social media and things like that and tell a story. I mean, I don't know how much it would raise, but anything is better than nothing. However,
hey, where's your boyfriend?
Huh?
Where's your boyfriend?
My boyfriend?
Sureflake. Yeah, Sureflake.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Sherwood, or Sureflake, as I like to call him.
I don't know.
They kicked me off the program last night.
Oh, Sherbert. I haven't seen.
Oh yeah, Sherbert. There you go.
I haven't seen Sherbert. He'll probably come through here and say hello every now and then. But yeah,
and that kind of, all your other guests, including Kingpin, who we've had words back and forth. We did last night a little bit, but at least he's man enough to sit there and have a conversation and exchange with me. Sherbert's like, I don't like him. Man, he's a half a slap away from being a tranny. Fuck him.
God damn. That was mean. Well, let me just say this. Look, a lot of folks are passionate when we're discussing politics, and they just can't hear opposing opinions. The only place I generally go are MAGA and Republican social media pages. I get kicked off and cussed out all the damn time. Because MAGA's the one that's supposed to not be about cancel culture. All of a sudden, it's clear MAGA is down with cancel culture as well. I get canceled and sent. That's the reason why I created my own program where we don't cancel or censor anybody. Because MAGA does it a hell of a lot too. If you're MAGA, you go to a liberal stream, they're canceling you and cussing you out. If you're liberal and you go to a MAGA stream, they're doing the same damn thing. So it happens on both sides.
I've seen it, and I'll tell you what, you're almost, we got to work on you a little bit, but you're almost as good a troll as I am. Because you say some outlandish shit out of nowhere. A sock. I'm like, he did not just fucking say that. He did not just say that.
Well, in defense of myself, I am very civil and cordial when I'm talking to my beloved MAGA in my program. But when I go to their program and it's like 6 of these folks taking me on at once, calling me all kinds of names, yeah, I can be comical and things like that. So that's what you saw.
So smart. I feel you. I was laughing, bro. I was over here dying.
Yeah, I'm a little different. Yeah, I'm a little bit more defensive, and I push back a lot harder when I'm in someone else's stream and everything. I mean, because listen, regardless if I agree with you or not, one thing I make it clear to all of my guests, even including MAGA, I don't talk down to my guests, I don't insult you, and I give you plenty of respect and time to get your point across without any block, banning, or censoring. But when I go to their lives, they don't adhere to any of that. They don't respect you, they cuss you out, they'll kick you out, they'll mute you. So I'm a lot less respectable there because I'm in a lot less respectable environment.
I can see that.
Yeah.
You're getting hit from 6 different directions. That's why I came up last night and do Sherflake's stream, because I knew I was going to be
His name is Sherbert.
Sherflake, Sherbert, same thing, whatever.
Oh my God.
It's both sweet as pie.
Okay, back to the program. I want you to hear this statement. I'm sure you probably heard it earlier, but what the hell is this?
Truly was. He was a missionary with noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent. And I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now...
What the hell is that?
That's Trump being Trump, man.
At a fucking funeral, Gen X? At a funeral?
Did you hear the crowd? Did they boo him? They laughed. He made people smile at a time when they were mourning and feeling like shit.
Listen,
that's Trump being a showman and a comedian.
At a funeral. Talking about hating people. Everybody before him, everybody else is talking about God and love of Jesus and shit. And he comes up talking about hatred. You even seen Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica, says that I forgive the person that took my husband. Here he comes up and says, I hate my opponents and I want the worst for them. How the hell is that something humorous at a funeral?
Let me put it this way. At my funeral, because I know you're going to show up and I know you're going to be crying with the bottom lip shaking. I don't want that. I want Metallica playing, people to be cracking jokes. I would love for Trump to get up on there, crack jokes, and say shit that makes people go, oh my God, did he really say that?
Okay, but here's what I need you to explain to me then. If it is wrong to see what happened to Charlie Kirk, who the left obviously considers to be an opponent, and make fun of or celebrate what happened to him because they wish ill will on their opponent, how is it any different when Trump says, I hate my opponents and I don't wish the best for them either? That means, to me, his energy is the same energy you guys are criticizing that went against Charlie Kirk. He's doing the same thing. What's the difference?
He's not pushing for people to go assassinate other people.
They weren't either.
We'll take a step further and I'll answer your question. As far as there being more than one assassin, they say they. When they say they, I'll make you understand it. They're talking about, what they're saying is that, yeah, maybe one individual took him out, but it was a collective ideology that pushed that hate and that action. So more than one people, maybe not physically did it, but more than one person pushed that ideology to have that crazy little young SOB behave like that.
Here's the point that I have to, and by the way, some of you folks, get your boy a few TikTok caps. 1 out of 20. What the hell? Help your boy reach the goal. Tap the damn screen. The likes are real low tonight. God damn, is the show that bad? But let me ask you, when you talk about the ideology is what took out Kirk, the hateful ideology. So what Trump is doing here, is this not hateful ideology?
Yeah, I would agree with
right.
that.
So in other words, if hang on. So if some random individual takes out a liberal, then that means the liberals now have the right to suggest that his hateful ideology caused it then, right?
It's the truth.
Wow. So then he is no better than anybody he's accusing of hurting Charlie Kirk. He's now put the same hateful ideology out in the universe that he is suggesting took Charlie Kirk. He is now engaged in the same thing. He's no better.
But who does it more, Tim?
How many times do you need to do it before somebody gets popped?
What I'm saying is, who does it more? Let me ask you this. How many conservatives showed up at those 2 lawmakers, and 3 actually, in Minnesota that got killed? How many conservatives showed up and protested their memorials? How many of us, except for me maybe, that made a bad joke, cheered it on?
I don't see what, I think what you and I have a difference is, if you do something bad, the fact that you didn't do something bad as much as I did it is not an excuse for you. You either think this stuff is bad and you don't do it, or you do it. Well, I only did it 10 times, you did it 100, so that, no. If you think it's wrong to do it, then it's wrong to do it even once.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so he's involved in it. Yes, I mean, and by the way, this is not the first time he got in front of the cameras and said, I hate all Democrats and they hate America. He's done this before. So when you say, who's done it more, this guy has done it a lot. Thank you for that. Appreciate that, TikTok Cap, big dog.
Now I'm gonna pull a Tim. At least he's consistent.
And I'm going to pull a MAGA. What did they say? One is too many. So the fact that he's done this once, that's already too many. Big dog, thank you. Help your boy out. Appreciate that. So what I'm simply saying is, at this point, anybody on the left that faces somebody that's trying to take their life, there's no more exactly what they accuse folks of that took out Charlie Kirk. He's exposed himself to that now. Anybody that gets taken out on the left, they can blame Trump because he put the same rhetoric out there.
What anyone else does, Tim, I can't control it. Here's what I'm going to say from my perspective. I think this whole hate thing
Thank you.
and political violence and rhetoric, it's out of control, and we need to either fix it, do what Kirk did, man. Come to the table and talk about it, or just say fuck it and fucking go fucking balls to the wall and best man wins.
The problem is Kirk himself also is involved in some of this rhetoric. I mean, he talked about bailing out the guy that tried to take Nancy Pelosi's husband's life. So he's involved in this shit too. He wasn't necessarily clean of it either.
None of us are. Tell me you are. You're not. I'm not. I won't say you. I'm gonna own my.
Yeah, I would never. I would never make fun or celebrate somebody going through what Charlie Kirk or Paul Pelosi went through. I don't find anything funny about that at all. I just don't. It doesn't further any narrative. It doesn't make America great. It doesn't hurt your. I mean, it just there's no benefit to it other than to make people hate you.
That makes us look bad to the world.
Yeah, but to me, even if you look at the likes of Jasmine Crockett or some left wing, to have the president of the United States say that, there is no higher level of embarrassment to the country because everybody around the world don't know who Jasmine Crockett is. Everybody don't know who Ilhan Omar is. Everybody knows who Trump is. For him to get up there and say something like that, particularly at a funeral for a man that was assassinated, it's just insane. That's just insane to do that.
I will agree to disagree on that.
And all of those Christians clapping their hands about love and love of God, the minute he starts talking about hate, they're clapping just as much as they were when people were talking about God. Did you not see any hypocrisy?
Oh yeah, I see hypocrisy on both sides. That's what I've been saying.
All right. I mean, I'm not going to deny there's hypocrisy on both sides, but to me, he ruined that event with that shit. And not only he did it, I believe Stephen Miller and J.D. Vance had some choice words, but the president, because everybody knows who he is, at some point there has to be somebody that says, we better than that. This guy is not that guy. This is not the guy that's going to do that.
My original thought on that, Tim, was he could have done better and set a really good example. And maybe he missed an opportunity to do something better. But how many times have we said that? And the left just keeps getting wilder and wilder, man.
You think this is going to tame me? You think what he just said here is going to tame anybody down?
Oh no, he threw gas on.
Right. So this is the exact opposite of what you see. By the way, there's going to be 1 million microphones and cameras in front of Trump's face. This is just one event where it was done to memorialize Charlie Kirk. You don't have to bring your grievances and tell people who you hate at this one event. All the rest of the time, you can pick up the phone and have all kinds of reporters come to you 24 hours a day. You can skip this one event to do that. You don't have to do that here.
It is what it is, man. It's fucking water under the bridge.
It ain't water under the bridge. It's part of his history. It's part of his legacy now. Gen X, I got him moving on. Appreciate you coming in, man.
All right, brother. Always a pleasure talking to you. You be safe out there, man. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
Good talk. Same. Moving on with the program, by the way, tap the screen. It's slow day today. By the way, Big Dog, definitely want to say thank you for your support. Appreciate that, Big Dog. Wow, you showed up and showed out unspoken love. Thank you as well. Or was that C. Osby as well? Thank you. It's hate right in front of everyone. Yeah, that's the way I see it. Sherbert, you did get called out, by the way, too. Sherbert, you absolutely did get called out. MAGA reacts, I bet not MAGA reacts. My last caller.
Never.
Okay, Sherbert, are you there? Handsome conservative, thank you.
YouTube.
Sherbert, you got called out.
What'd they say?
Oh, wow, you didn't hear it.
I just logged in. What's going on?
Some of the things he said were so bad. I mean, that was Gen X. He was angry that you cut him off yesterday, and I'll sum it up by just simply saying he said you were one step above being a tranny yourself.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not the freedom of speech guy. That was going up live with you last night, Tim. I'm not the guy who says I gotta let everybody talk. I don't like him. So he didn't stay on for very long. I did let him talk, didn't I?
Yeah, you did a little bit. So we're actually talking about a few things here on the show. Getting back, we've had one hell of a period today. A lot of things came in that we don't normally talk about. But I know you may have heard Jimmy Kimmel is back as of tomorrow. Do you think that Disney caved and that's wrong, or do you think this is right for America and free speech? What say you?
I think it's right for American free speech. It's really annoying that the people are saying, like, oh, what about the affiliate channels that had to play this? So what? The people don't have to view that channel at that time. And when it comes to buying season, you buy different... They're trying to make a mountain out of a molehill when it's very clear that Trump was going after free speech and taking out somebody he didn't like. The weaponizing of the government, which I thought everyone was against.
Well, it is Trump, and favor. If Trump goes against it, a lot of people are going to go against it as well. I mean, it's just a lot of folks have a lot of faith in Trump. I had a caller tell me, it doesn't matter what's going on. If you bet on Trump, 99% of the time, things will turn out good for you. So a lot of folks believe it doesn't matter what their current principles are. If Trump goes any other direction, it's best to follow him. There's a lot of people who believe that.
I feel like we're paying the mob to not smash out our window fronts.
Yeah,
and whoa.
You sound like
if you just go with Trump, and everything will be fine.
You sound like Ted Cruz, and I do agree with you. Trump is to some degree governing like a mob boss. I do agree. Like, for instance, the letter that they intercepted that was going to Pam Bondi about how they need to start, bringing some of his adversaries to justice. Yeah, everybody knows what that's about. I mean, so he is governing like a mob boss, and he's doing a good job because folks do fear him.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good thing. Whenever they complain about the weaponization towards Trump, we can point at things he actually did with evidence. And all of these people he's going after have very thin reasons. Like what Jimmy Kimmel said. Maybe, but it would be a very big question versus actual evidence you can show that they did it with malicious intent.
Yeah, I was being told, because we covered this the day it happened when Jimmy Kimmel got suspended indefinitely. And the right was saying, look, your employer can fire you if you cross the line. Jimmy Kimmel was not funny. He was not getting any ratings. Disney was losing money and all of this stuff. And I'm looking at it now and saying, if all of that is true, why are they bringing him back? which shows that his ratings, his financial income, it wasn't apparently as bad as they're saying. Because why would you bring the guy back if he was that bad?
I mean, he's obviously doing fine. He's been going at it for like 20 years at this point. But real quick in the comments, just look at the court transcripts, all of the public hearings that you could go and look at. They made a big point of showing all the Jan 6 investigations. Proof of what? Fuck you.
What are you even talking about? What comment are you?
Wait. I said we can show proof of anything that we said Trump did for his weaponization, that we use the weaponization of government against him. So when they say proof of what, I say get fucked. Go look at the Jan 6 trials that they very intentionally showed the world of all of our evidence. Fuck you.
Well, he's been really good at avoiding that. Now, I want to play this real quick for you. I want to get your opinion on this.
First, immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol, during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good.
Now, I don't know if you're younger than I am, so I don't know if you remember the whole Tylenol scare back in the 80s and things like that. But Tylenol's been around, I'm in my early 50s. Tylenol's been around as long as I can remember. He's saying Tylenol is not good and don't take it. Do you think, listen, he got Dr. Oz there to his left. So Dr. Oz has a medical history. The guy you can't see on the screen there because of that is Kennedy there. But do you think there may be some validity to what he's saying?
No. It is a drug and you have to use dosing appropriately or else you can die, like from most things.
Right.
It's such a safe drug within, prescribed doses. This is just horseshit of people trying to stir the pot.
What is the purpose? Does he have any enemies that work for Tylenol? So why would he do this?
I mean, when he came in, he said, I'm going to let RFK just go wild. And look at him reading the script. He has no idea what that drug name is.
Yeah,
it's clearly the first time he's seeing that.
Yeah,
so dumb.
Yeah, I got a Tylenol right here. Sometimes if I get a little light headache before the show, I got a little. I mean, I've never heard anybody having any problems out of Tylenol. It's a very mild drug. Now he is talking about moms to be though. So he's saying if you're pregnant and you take Tylenol, you could give your child autism. Go ahead.
You can poison your liver with it, but that just means more risk to the child because your liver needs to work during that time and you're giving things across.
Right.
Like with all drugs, pregnant women have to do everything in moderation. Of course. Is this the 1920s and we don't understand?
Yeah, what I don't get is why go after them though? Now, because the medical community is saying that this is not, the medical community is not buying really anything coming from Kennedy. But nevertheless, he is up there saying it, and I don't understand how he was able to get such a prominent position without a medical background other than suing some medical companies. So I never could understand that to begin with. But to go in and fire a bunch of medical professionals that do have the training and education and get to say this, is it possible that maybe there's another competitor to acetaminophen that maybe Trump has stake in or something? There's got to be a reason for this.
I literally can't see any other than RFK is crazy, and there are deaths to acetaminophen, but like all drugs, that's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, there are deaths that can be attributed to aspirin. If you take too much of it, you can bleed internally. But yeah, Tylenol has always been known to be pretty damn safe.
This is where I'm losing my mind, where these are the people telling us what vaccines are good or what food to eat when these people are clearly like poisoning themselves with raw milk and going to the hospital with that. But for some reason, acetaminophen is evil. I hate these people. I hate this administration for its sheer ignorance of how science really works and how people have... oh, the deep state. Yeah, but we do good science, guys. Shut the fuck up.
This is who we voted for.
Sure. Don't say that.
Is it not? This is what we. This is.
Not with that guy in the background. I hate that guy.
Well, speaking of that guy, we're gonna discuss this guy
who pulled us out of the caves and the darkness into the light. The light will defeat the dark. We will prevail over the forces of wickedness and evil. They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us. Because we stand for what is good, what is virtuous, what is noble. And to those trying to incite violence against us, those trying to foment hatred against us, what do you have? You have nothing. You are nothing. You are wickedness, you are jealousy, you are envy, you are hatred. You are nothing. You can build nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create. We are
not. Stephen Miller, what say you?
I think Joel Osteen has some competition there.
I don't think Joel Osteen talks in this fashion. Joel Osteen is pretty soft. This sounds like he's casting spells.
After Joel Osteen didn't help out with the Katrina flood because he had just installed new carpeting in the arena, feels about right.
Oh my God! So we are nothing on the left. You are nothing. You don't build shit. You are nothing. This is a memorial, right?
I thought so, but it sure as hell doesn't feel like it.
No, it feels like some sort of
Can you imagine this happening on the left? Can you even kind of imagine us having fireworks and have a screaming speech from anyone?
It's strong language. What about this one here, though?
Can't help but think that they tried to silence my friend Charlie Kirk. They tried to silence our dear friend Charlie Kirk. And tonight, we speak with Charlie and for Charlie louder than ever.
Now, what I want to ask in regards to this, and Stephen Miller himself, is they're making this, when you listen to their speech, it sounds like more than one person took out Charlie Kirk. Now, we know Tyler Robinson is the guy they've captured him. Cash Patel stated we got him and we got the right guy. Why are they constantly using terms like they and them, making it sound like a whole bunch of liberals ganged up and took out Charlie Kirk together? Any idea why they're doing that when it's clearly one guy?
Well, it was very clear the hours afterwards with the response from specifically Stephen Miller and Donald J. Trump in how they called for war and basically called us demons just because I did not enjoy the man in his life. But okay, all of a sudden I'm a demon? They are using such hateful and derogatory language like they always have. But it's getting a little more serious now that he has complete control of the government instead of just having people not, execute the orders because he's going to start a war. Holy shit. Now he's got those people gone.
Well, when you say they're using hateful language, you do realize they're suggesting it's the liberals that are using hateful language to rile up people and take the life of people like Charlie Kirk. They're saying the liberals are doing that.
They can say that. But the most controversial people I'm hearing are just saying, that was horrible. But also, look at everything he said. That's not, oh no, we showed somebody's life in, our mirror. That's not us having hate speech. That's not us being a terrorist organization like Stephen Miller is implying, at least.
Yeah, but there were, and I see in the comments someone, Marlene says the left can yell "fuck Donald Trump" FDT. I mean, I do want to point out.
People said "fuck Biden."
Yeah, I was just going to point out. You do realize there was a "Let's Go Brandon" movement, right? So, I mean, yeah, "Let's Go Brandon" went a lot further than "fuck Donald Trump" ever will. So, I don't know if you can really bring that up at this point. But
you've been to the Trump rallies. You see exactly how hateful these people can get at their tailgates and all of the paraphernalia.
I don't know.
Guns on
I've been to it, but you know, to be honest with you,
No.
the two Trump rallies I went to, they were well. Trump got on stage and criticized the hell out of the left, but the audience, other than the plotting, I mean, I had conversations with people at the Trump rally. They weren't really hateful like that, with the exception of this African American guy that was in line with me, who wanted to open his shirt up because he had a shirt on that said "N words for Trump" on under, and I told him I didn't think he should do that, but because he's like, "Should I open? Should I wear?" I'm like, "Man, no, don't do that." I mean, this shirt said "N word for Trump," so you know, I didn't favor that, but other than that, they were a peaceful bunch.
Have you watched many of the other videos of? There's one channel specifically, the Good Liars, and they go up to these Trump rallies, and they would just ask very basic questions, and it would make my brain explode from them being so dumb. And I know they're using the worst of the worst, but when you get stumped by the simple questions, and it's at several different Trump rallies over the 8 years that he's been running, that he never stopped. There's plenty of.
I've seen that kind of stuff, but I'll tell you, Jesse Waters of Fox News, before he started his own show, when he was on Bill O'Reilly's show, used to find liberals that would be stupid like that. Jay Leno would find liberals that were stupid walking down the streets of Hollywood like that. Charlie Kirk has found a bunch of stupid liberals. I mean, you can find people that are idiots on both sides of the aisle like that.
But those people also weren't going after the Department of Education.
True. That is a good way of putting it. That is true. That's different. So this is the world we live in. Sure, but I do got to move it on, but we live in different times now. But you are a fan of having Jimmy Kimmel back on the air.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch him, but that's because I don't watch live TV.
Yeah, I don't watch him that much either. In fact, I would probably watch Stephen Colbert before I'd watch Jimmy Kimmel, because there's more politics from Stephen Colbert than there is from Jimmy Kimmel. But nevertheless, he wanted to get rid of Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers as well. He wanted to get rid of all late night TV. Trump wanted to get rid of all of those folks.
Sounds like free speech to me, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you can't blame all of them on saying something outlandish about Charlie Kirk. Now, okay, you say Jimmy Fallon did it. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel did it, but that doesn't give any reason for why you're saying Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers need to go next. So clearly he was trying to go after free speech. I don't think that's even up for denial. Sherbert, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too, you too. Tap the screen, get the lights on up. You guys know how we run this program. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We are indeed MAGA friendly. Been that way since day one. Always will be. Always have been. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. That's how free speech works. Thank you for the TikTok cap. Handsome conservative. He doesn't sound like anyone saying anything bad, including statistics. What do you mean by that? I'm done. He doesn't sound like anyone saying anything bad, including statistics. Let me know what you mean. But yeah, nobody, what is it? Wow, nobody who votes for pregnancy termination goes to heaven. You know, John, I'll just say this in the comments, John Landry. You're saying, nobody who votes in favor of abortion goes to heaven. You do. First of all, let's be clear. There's a whole lot of Republicans that believe in terminating pregnancies under certain circumstances, and some of them even believe a woman should have the right to choose outright. But I will say this. I don't see, if you're judging on what should get you access to heaven or not, I don't see having no sympathy for the baby once it's born any different than being in favor of abortion. Okay, you're going to fight to make sure babies are born, but once they're born, you're not going to do shit for them. I don't see how that makes. That doesn't give you the high ground to me. If you know, a mom needs help and she's irresponsible, so we're not going to help her out. I don't see how the baby ain't got nothing to do with her being irresponsible. The baby still need to eat. If you can treat her like that, I don't see how you don't get the high ground in that, in my opinion. And not to mention all of the shit that's happened between the way we're treating immigrants. Look, if there's no way in my book you can get to heaven doing that stuff. I just don't see it. I mean, you're shipping people to countries they didn't come from and shit. I mean, we can't afford to take anybody else in, but Africa can. We're sending people to Africa and shit like that. You don't get to heaven doing that. I mean, now all of a sudden we don't turned away a bunch of poor countries, and we're telling folks if you got an extra 100,000, you can buy an H-1B visa though. Just come across and say fuck the poor. It would be simpler. So I don't know what you use as a judgment on how to get into heaven or not, but I don't see what you're seeing on the right as doing that. To literally increase the price of an H-1B visa by $100,000 while cutting access to America from poor people. How do you get to heaven on doing? I mean, you literally might as well say fuck the poor doing that. If you got money, we'll let you in. If you're poor, not so much. I don't see anything Christian-like about that. Looking in the comments, though, Trump is practicing a different religion and worships a different superior energy. What does that mean? If you see your neighbor working on a Sunday and you don't throw rocks at them, does that make you less of a Christian? If you see your neighbor working on a Sunday and you don't throw rocks at them, I don't know where you're going with that. I really don't. The Bible don't say that. The Bible don't say what. Let me go back to the box. Don't forget we have all signed and fallen short of the glory of God. I can agree with that, but it's one thing to do it accidentally or you're tempted by the flesh or something. But if you do it on purpose, what we're doing is actually legislating lack of empathy. We're putting it in our laws. We're putting fuck the poor mindset in our laws. So I don't know if that's falling short of the Lord or not. To me, that sounds like that's deliberate. Going back to the box, though, we'll continue on with I don't know what it says, the voice of the something there. Good evening, welcome to the program. Yeah, to me it's in the law, so to me that looks a little different. What does that say? The voice of what?
Voice of voiceless.
The voice of the voiceless. I like that. Okay, good evening. Welcome to the program. So, what do you think about? Okay, they don't put Kimmel back on the air, even though the right was saying the guy didn't have any ratings. He was losing money for the network. He wasn't funny. Nobody was watching him. Do you think it's a good thing if a guy that is suffering that bad gets back on ABC? Should they have put him back on?
Yes, they should have put him back on because they got pressure from the government to take him off, which they should have never taken him off in the first place. But did you hear Sinclair Broadcasting is not going to carry his shows? Those 200 ABC affiliate stations that Sinclair has, they're not. They chosen not to carry
knew that.
his shows.
I said at the beginning of the live, I said that was likely to happen because Sinclair is operated by Trump loyalists. I stated that was probably not going to happen. And what that's going to end up doing is it's going to give Jimmy Kimmel a ratings boost. Because by telling people they can't see something or having a Jimmy Kimmel blackout in their area, now people are going to wonder what he is saying about that on the show. So they're going to incentivize people in those areas to go online somewhere somehow and find the Jimmy Kimmel show.
I mean, with 200 stations, that's
a lot.
A big dinner
That's
rate.
a lot.
So yeah, that's a lot. That's a big dinner rate. I mean, ABC can probably negotiate with them and tell them we're not going to give you the college football games, or something. Negotiate with them, tell them, to carry the show. This whole thing is another controversy that should not have happened. These late night hosts, these comedians, whatever you want to call them, / quasi political analysts, you have to let them speak, man. I mean, it didn't harm anybody.
Yeah, I don't listen. What Jimmy Kimmel did, which is sound like based on what I heard, he was trying to blame MAGA for the unaliving of Charlie Kirk. President Trump blamed the Democrats before we even knew who the killer was. So I don't see how it's any different from what Trump did. At best, Jimmy Kimmel gets a couple of days, maybe a week suspension. But the idea that what he said was so horrible, he should be fired outright? No, I agree with you. That's way overkill.
He should be fired for his ratings. His contract is up next year. If they decide not to renew his contract, that's fair game because of his ratings. But the government should not be pressuring stations to take a guy off the air, and Sinclair should not be acting as a proxy for the administration refusing to carry his show.
Yeah. What about now? NC in my comment says, no. Jimmy Kimmel was asked to apologize to the people he insulted. He said no. Then he was fired. How about the fact that he did not apologize, which is something that Trump is known for doing himself, is not apologize. But what about the fact that he's known for that he didn't apologize?
Well, he didn't. The person that said that's false. That never happened. ABC made a decision. They never gave him the chance to apologize.
Yeah.
So that's false. Okay. We have to stick with the facts instead of making stuff up, because once you get in the MAGA world, you get so twisted and turned around, you start believing things that was never told.
What about requiring him to apologize before being back on the air? Should they have done that?
No, they should not have done that. He should never have been asked to apologize. This was tame. This was a lot tamer. We've seen Jimmy Kimmel in blackface, okay? This was one of the more tamer things that he's done. You remember when he did the impression of Karl Malone? He used to be on the Man Show with him and Adam Carolla.
Yeah,
he used to do the imitation of Karl Malone in blackface.
Yeah,
that's way more. That's way more worse than what he said the other day. These people are just snowflakes. These people are the 2020 cringe libs, the cancel culture. They become what they once claimed to have hated. Once they got the power to do what they claimed was wrong to doing to them, they started doing it. Like you were trying to ask that guy Gen X earlier, he just refused to say wrong is wrong.
Yeah.
They'll say, well, this side did it. No, if this side did it, it was wrong. You should not do it because it was wrong when they did it.
That is the way I see it as well, is that Trump is doing a whole lot of things that the right said were awful when they thought the left was getting close to doing it. And now you're right. Now that Trump is doing it, it's suddenly okay. That I absolutely, I mean, when Biden said that, there's a sea of garbage about MAGA, they found that to be very insulting. Trump has said all kinds of awful shit about the Democrats. And they've been messing with him for years. He has a right to do it. I mean, so I do agree with that.
The people that should be pushing back against Trump more than the liberals should be the conservative, because the point of being a conservative is limited government. You want to limit government because as government goes, you will not your party will not always be in power. So you want to limit the party of the government. So now when your party is out of power, the party that comes into power can't use those same tactics on you. That's the point of being a conservative.
Yeah.
But these people are no longer conservatives. They're MAGA. There's a difference between a conservative and a MAGA.
Yeah. I don't think there's any argument to be made. Trump is certainly not operating on a platform of small government.
Trump is an Upper East Side New York liberal. That's what he is. He's an Upper East Side New York liberal. These are conservative liberals. I know that might not make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but they're liberals that lean a little bit to the right, a little bit right of center. But they're still liberals. That's why when Trump, if you ever let Trump speak for himself, you will hear that liberal coming out of him. We need to take their guns and give them due process later.
Yeah,
you remember he said that?
Yeah, I played it plenty of times.
If you allow Trump to speak, that liberal comes out of him. Especially with the second term, we don't have people to temper his speech. Like, his former chiefs of staff and his former administration members, he don't have the same level of professionalism and quality in this administration that he did in his first administration. Yeah. That's why you're seeing things going to hell so fast. That's why things are going to hell so fast this administration. Where last administration...
Wait, are things really going to hell? To me, this seems like some folks would point to Project 2025 or Agenda 47. To me, it seems like he's doing what he promised. I mean, he campaigned on a lot of this stuff, as Gangsta Grandma was going off on me earlier.
I mean, he didn't promise to bring black unemployment up to levels not seen since the pandemic. He didn't promise to lower shipping rates. He didn't promise to raise prices with inflation. They're hiding inflation data now. They won't even release the inflation data that was supposed to be released last week.
Yeah.
They've also erased. What do you call it? The right wing terrorists. That was on the FBI website.
Yeah, the FBI in 2017, the FBI stated the biggest threat to America.
And the danger with this is that if you look at all these media acquisitions, these are Trump aligned people. Your Larry Ellisons that just bought TikTok. Like that company that's trying to buy ABC, why they folded down. These people are these Christian dominions. The Charlie Kirks, the Trumps, the Stephen Millers, they're what you call Christian dominions. They have 7 mandates where they want to control 7 things in society: law, media arts, education. And if you look at it, these are the things that they're going after. It's called Christian Dominionism, the Seven Mountains Mandate.
What are they? Law? You said law, media, arts, education. What else did you say?
Law, media, art, education. Hold on, let me see. Seven Mountain Mandate.
I never heard this. I'm curious now. I'm curious.
No, yeah, it's Christian Dominions. Dominions. DOMINIST. They want to control, government, media, religion, family, education, arts. That's why he went after the Kennedy Center. Entertainment and business.
Entertainment.
The things that go. That's why you go after Harvard. That's why you went after Columbia. That's the education part. And also, they have these groups set up like the Federalist Society to go after the law, to go after judges. They have these companies set up like TPUSA to go after the media. They have these companies set up like entertainment and business to go after to acquire new media. Like the Republicans, the right is so organized. The Democrats do not understand how organized the right wing are. They have a whole media ecosystem, be it social media, and now the only media they don't own is print. Well, they do own print because you got Jeff Bezos at the Washington Post, and you got that South African at the LA Times. So they do have a big hand in print. And you also have Rupert Murdoch at Wall Street Journal. So they do.
Well, it's easier for them to be. It's easier for the right to be organized. Yeah, the right is always going to be more organized from the left, and I say this all the time on the program: is that it's a lot easier to be a right-wing politician than it is a left-wing politician because the left has a big tent. I mean, the diversity. I mean, if you're a left-wing politician, you got to listen to what the Muslims want, what the feminists want, what the LGBTQ community want, what the black people want, what the Hispanics want, what the immigrants want. You got to listen to all of these groups if you're a liberal politician. For the most part, straight white Christian males is what you have to focus on as a Republican.
Trump had the most diverse coalition since Richard Nixon for a Republican. This election,
but you got to think the diversity for previous Republicans is so low. You don't need much to have the most.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you don't need but a few people.
They're not holding his feet to the flames either. Like I said, black unemployment is at the levels it were during the pandemic. You don't hear any of these blackers coming out and speaking on it. Like Byron Daniels, where are you at?
I think it's because folks don't really know. I mean, like you said, they're hiding the inflation. A lot of folks don't really know. I mean, only half the media is going to tell you that. And the powers that be, a lot of them are now frightened of Trump. So you're not going to get all of the story.
They're frightened of Trump because they know Trump is petty. And Trump, if you put the spotlight on yourself, attacking him, he's going to come after you. Yeah. Because Trump is petty. That's why you see a lot of these black leaders, like the Dr. Umars, are so quiet now because they know Trump will come after them. And if they are compromised, if their businesses are compromised, your taxes ain't right, your money ain't right, or either there's unhanded stuff, Trump will come after you and expose that. That's why when you see some of these people that were so activists, so-called activists, why they're so quiet right now is because something they're hiding, or they know that.
Well, shit. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have a criminal history whatsoever. But if you went through my whole life with a fine-tooth comb, I fucked up somewhere. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I don't got away with something that was probably criminal. So yeah, I agree with that. I mean, certainly if you got the power of the weight of the federal government behind you, I don't put something wrong on the tax report somewhere or sign something I shouldn't have signed. Yeah, it is going to be frightening.
Yeah, so you see a lot of these people that's afraid to speak up now, but in the past 20 years or so, claim themselves to be leaders and activists, and now they're afraid to speak up. It's because of fear. And it really upsets me with I'm more in tune with the black community because I'm black, but it really upsets me with these black so-called activists not speaking up for black people. They're taking money away from our programs within our city that has shown to reduce crime.
Wow. Let me ask you this: what about
they took away that environmental cleanup money for our black cities? The money that was supposed to be in our cities to clean up the environment because people had the cancer-causing materials, they took that away too.
I heard about the cancer-causing materials.
Yeah, I mean, like, man, the black community is getting attacked left and right where we're not getting an equal distribution of our government funds that we are owed. And nobody's speaking up for us. These so-called black leaders, you don't see them anywhere because they're afraid of Trump. And they're trying to compare themselves to our ancestors who got death threats every day that were carried out upon.
Wow.
I'm upset with a lot of these people, man.
There is no denying that Trump is governing mob boss style, and people are fearful of him. I mean, right and left. It ain't just people on the left. It ain't just black people. You're right. If you go after Trump, like for instance, what is the woman name in New York? Is it Letitia James? The one that's got the big lawsuit?
Yes.
He's gung-ho to get her. In fact, somebody resigned because he was trying to force one of the members, I think one of the Department of Justice members or somebody out there in New York to go after her. That person told Trump there's nothing near her. So that person can, tired of the pressure from Trump, gave up the job, and Trump done put somebody else out there. And you see
and he tweeted out the Pam Bondi to go out. He tweeted out a crime.
Yep.
But nobody cares anymore. He tweeted out a crime. You cannot pressure. I don't know, since Trump got in office this second time, there has been no separation between departments. Every single executive department he feels he runs. There is no independence. Even though the Department of Justice is still supposed to be independent from the president, even though you select this person, they're still supposed to be independent. The FBI and the president ain't been this close since Kennedy and LBJ when they had J. Edgar Hoover in there.
Yeah.
That was the last time the FBI was this close with the president. That's how you know there's so much corruption in it. These are dangerous precedents that he's breaking. So and people, especially, I'm so upset with the so-called conservative. I used to be a conservative. My first vote was for George Bush. I was more of a libertarian. Mm-hmm. My first vote was for George Bush. Because George Bush was talking conservative principle. No foreign wars. When he was running, this is what he said. No foreign wars. That's what he said when he was running. Don't get me wrong. No foreign wars. He was invested. No child left behind. He invested in education. You know what I'm saying? I used to be on that side, so I know what a real conservative is. These people they are not conservative. They are MAGA. There's a big difference. All the conservatives have left the Republican Party. They're out on an island. So don't let these people get up there and bastardize that name conservative. These people are not conservative whatsoever. They're populist.
All right. Voice of the voiceless. Appreciate you coming in, man. I don't disagree. The Conservative Party has become the MAGA party. I think even MAGA agrees with that. Nevertheless, thanks for coming through, man. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen, folks. Just a lower program than that. I don't know what the hell's going on with all this shit, but tap the screen. Get your boy likes on up to around 75,000. We can certainly make that happen. You say Americans have homelessness everywhere, much less than Canada and not in our neighborhoods. What are you saying there, Alexander? Well, Canada, with their weather, I mean, can they really maintain a homeless crowd? I mean, once winter hits there, it's got to be damn near an emergency if you're out in the cold. Did he just say the feds wasn't close to the president? Laughing like, no. Well, what would be the other guy? Eric. Holt. What is the guy under Obama? Holter. I cannot think of the guy's name. Eric Holter or whatever his name is. Some suggested that he was close to Obama. But I just think in Trump's case, you're going to hear more people saying this is because it is pretty clear that Trump's administration they're just letting him kind of do whatever he want to do, legal or not. I mean, I think that this attack on free speech, when you got Ted Cruz and people like that speaking up, he clearly was trying to take a swing at the First Amendment. It's not even up for debate. We can go back and forth. Well, no, it's because of what he said about Charlie Kirk, and your employer can fire you. That don't explain why he was threatening Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers, saying they should be fired too. And then it also doesn't explain why he's saying that stations that receive a broadcast license, if they're negative about him, they should lose their license. It also doesn't explain his own FCC head talking about we can do this the easy way or the hard way. It's pretty fucking obvious that Trump was taking a swing at free speech against those who are critical of him. And once you get to the point where you see blood in the water, you want to go after somebody, any excuse you can create to go after them will do. And I do believe the whole Charlie Kirk statement by Jimmy Kimmel was just an excuse. I mean, anything he does, let's find something to get him. And boom, there we go. Let's go ahead and exaggerate this and use this. We can piss off MAGA by playing this. This will work. But they were after Jimmy Kimmel, period. Just like Stephen Colbert, just like Jimmy Fallon, just like Seth Meyers. They were after these people. Trump is getting the right answer cemented. What do you mean getting the right answer submitted? Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers had bad conduct. People get fired every day for that. You know something? And I don't disagree with you, Alexandra. Here's the problem, though. The timing is fucked up. The timing is fucked up. All of these people, all of a sudden Trump gets elected. They're having a spat with him, and suddenly all their employers within a few weeks decide they all need to be fired. All while many of these companies that they work for in mergers that Trump has the ability to say yay or nay on the merger. And we're supposed to overlook all of that and just pretend like, well, they did say something bad at work. No, it's pretty obvious what's going on. Not to mention then, of course, Trump making those quotes about the FCC broadcast license and all of that shit. I'll tell you this, even though everybody kind of knew Trump was taking a swing at getting rid of free speech, they could have had some plausible deniability, certainly in the case of Jimmy Kimmel, and just said, look, just let him pretend like, it was what he said about Charlie Kirk and let Disney go after him. Once Trump opened his mouth and got into it by saying that people should lose their broadcast license and demanding NBC fire Jimmy Fallon, and then if Trump had kept his mouth closed, you could have maybe kept Jimmy Kimmel out with plausible deniability. But once Trump actually opened his mouth and started demanding other people be fired too that didn't say shit about Charlie Kirk and talking about FCC licenses should be revoked for speaking negatively of him, he spilled the beans on his own self. Once he did that, he made it clear this has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. This is me getting revenge on my enemies and shutting people up. If he had kept his mouth closed, he could have probably got rid of Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Kirk, damn, I don't mix both of them. He could have probably got rid of Jimmy Kimmel and made it work. But once he opened his mouth, it became pretty clear that this has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. This is him behind the scenes getting people fired. Disney lost $4 billion for that little stunt, says him. Like, yeah, I heard of it. I mean, you know how many people that I had come up to me and tell me, ask me personally, have you canceled your Hulu contract? No more. I don't have Hulu, so I don't have anything by Disney, but people were telling me that a lot of liberals were getting rid of Disney. A lot of liberals. And we already know the right don't like Disney anyway. So you don't alienate it. The only group that is actually tuning into your product. So they realize the error of their ways, in my opinion. That's the reason they put Jimmy Kimmel back on. The bad guys get blown away in the movies all day long. Damn, what are you talking about? And Jimmy Fallon wasn't talking about Charlie Kirk. He was talking about Matt. Now, at what point, here's the problem. At what point does the president get to decide whether what you're saying crosses the line or not? That's where the problem is. The president shouldn't be involved in this. Miss Mo, better. Good evening. Welcome to the program.
Hey, Tim. Hey.
In the trenches tonight. So Kimmel is back. Kimmel is back. What say you?
Because they know they shouldn't have got rid of him in the first place. That's the only reason. And what they're trying to do is avoid the lawsuit that would have came behind that firing. They knew it was coming. It would have cost them triple through the lawsuit is to bring him back. And not only that, now he's going to have ratings out the roof. Because of what he's done.
Yeah, if I was Jimmy Kimmel, I would probably, because they said like 400 different Hollywood actors had signed an ACLU complaint against them. I would reach out to some of them and say, see if I can get some help on my program. This is our time to shine. I need your help. Anybody's willing to come on the show, we're going to talk about exactly what they did.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Because not only that, it was a lie what Trump and them said about him talking about Charlie Kirk. He didn't say anything about Charlie Kirk. I don't know if everybody's seen it, but he didn't say. He was talking shit about that orange clown. And anybody that talks shit against him, there's repercussions behind it. You're not allowed to say anything about the bad guy.
Well, here's an interesting one. Takesha Boo in the comments says, Gavin Newsom is on there tomorrow, so that'll be a hell of a comeback show.
Oh, now listen, if they don't take this opportunity to blow them out the water, then they just fools. Now is that time. Yeah, because you got Gavin Newsom who is trolling the shit out of Trump.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you one thing. You know who's going to be watching that show tomorrow? Trump is gonna be watching that show.
He got his popcorn and whatever little bit of water he can hold ready.
What does that mean? Wait, the two-handed.
You see, it take them 2 hands to hold an 8-ounce bottle of water. Stop playing. Exactly. Exactly. Now that so-called memorial that they have for CK, that was nothing but a RNC. What's
rally,
they call
like a rally.
A rally/convention.
Yeah.
And that goes to show you how they really don't even care. They just took his unalivement and made it political. They politicized that, and now they're trying to demonize anybody that didn't agree with that man.
Yeah,
Trump has been running for years. That's how he ran his campaign. Demonize everybody that don't speak to me. Now he's trying. I don't know if y'all ever heard of these words: authoritarianism, sedition, treason. Look those terms up, and you'll see we're watching this shit in real time.
Wow. One of the things I've said on the program that I never did understand is that anybody that criticized Charlie Kirk was automatically being accused of celebrating his death as if he was above criticism. I get that the guy went out in one of the most awful ways imaginable, but just because somebody passes away does not remove your right to criticize them. I mean, and that's what they're saying. If you critical of Charlie Kirk, that means somehow, some way you wanted him to die. I never could understand that.
I find it they used him as a pawn, which is what they do. And I mean, there's probably a lot more to the story than we actually see. They're gonna give us enough for us to keep us fighting about it, so they can slither their way through things. You see how a snake is low in the grass. You can hardly see them until they get up on you. That's this regime that we're working on now, working with now.
Damn, and I see it and Patrick Barrett in the comments says all of you are idiots. What about this comment here, though?
Need to know about who Charlie Kirk truly was. He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me.
Why do you think they cheered that on at a memorial, at a funeral? He's talking about hating people.
Because that's who they are, Tim. When people show you who they are, you have to believe them. You have to believe him. He's been hate, and I don't see how they can't charge him for saying things like this. Because now it could take, because I don't like you, I can do what I want to you, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm going to do it because I don't like you. No, matter of fact, he said he hates them. Who follows a leadership like that? Who follows that type of leadership?
77 million people. 77 million people follow that.
MAGA equals mush. Mine's under Satan's hate.
Damn. That's cruel.
That's who MAGA is now, and that's who they shown to be.
Give me those. Give me that.
But they want to blame the right, the left. They want the radical lefts. Who is Trump left right now? No. Does the people that follow him left? No.
What is those acronyms for mush again?
Mine's under Satan's hate.
Jesus, you really believe that? That bad?
Absolutely, and it shows. They will sacrifice their own just so they could stay empowered and so-called in the lead. They think they're in the lead right now because they attacking people, firing people.
I think
you got a man. You got JFK up there. He has no medical background. Make a decision for people. Who follows somebody that says, "Oh, don't listen to the experts"?
Yeah, and I see
only the devil would say some shit like that.
Well, I see you pissed at one of my callers. He said later your caller is full of shit. Says Jeffrey Scott. So apparently he doesn't agree with you.
That's okay. You don't have to agree. But I've learned people don't get mad because you're wrong. They get mad because you're right. They get mad because you're right, and it exposes them.
That's what they
So
said
he
about
can feel
Charlie.
how he want to feel.
That's what they said about Charlie Kirk. You only hate him because he's telling the truth.
No, he was a bigot, and that's period. That showed too. If they should have watched, if they were paying attention.
They ask all the time, what did Charlie Kirk say that was hateful? I've heard that question a lot. And I see in the comments, Doug Veazey has said, I am Charlie Kirk. But a lot of folks,
That.
Huh?
I say he could be that. If that's what you want to be, you go right ahead and be it. We're not, I'm going to speak from the eye. I'm not here to try to stop you from being anything. But again, you have to know that freedom of speech is not really free. Those things do come with consequences. And me as a black woman coming from black ancestry, our stories are different. You can never say what he said wasn't harmful or wasn't hurtful or wasn't hateful.
Well, but was it
cannot do that.
But was it racist? Blake in the comments says black people defending Charlie Kirk is wild. Dude was racist as fuck. I mean, do you see him as being racist as fuck like that?
Yeah, he was a total bigot, and he found that niche, and it worked. And not only that, he spoke more. So most of his speech came from right wingers. It came from the current administration that's happening now. It didn't just start happening. It happened a while ago when Trump took him on. This is why you have so many younger MAGA now. You have a lot more younger MAGA now because of him. So this is why they feel they need to glorify him. Oh, he got the young people out of there or whatever. However, they got all they need. They got all they really needed out of him. This current administration got all they needed out of him already, which was to get the younger people in here. Now he was sacrificed. He sacrificed, and we're going to make this about politics in the name of him.
Well, he wasn't sacrificed. Somebody took his life.
Oh, you don't believe so, huh? I have a different of opinion.
You don't believe it was Tyler Robinson?
I no comment. I plead the fifth.
What are you afraid? Trump's going to come visit your crib?
No. I just plead the fifth. That's all.
All right. Yeah. Well,
it sucks. It sucks that we are in 2025 and actually looking at shit like this. It's disrespectful. It's disgusting. Yeah. And it's disheartening.
Yeah, and Yoruba Man says, come on, Snowflakes, like the live on YouTube. Thank you, Yoruba. For you folks that are watching on YouTube, yeah, tap that like button. Certainly help your boy out.
Whoever this in motion is in your comments talk about I'm scary, you ain't seen shit yet.
Damn.
I'm light right now. I'm light tonight.
Okay.
So I advise you to just keep it moving. Find something else to do with your time.
Too special. Thank you very much for the support. So at the end of the day, you do see it as a win for free speech, putting Kimmel back on the air, for instance, because obviously with Trump has been winning a lot. Trump has been winning politically, winning legislatively, winning judicially. I mean, he's been winning a lot. Do you see this as
bullying a lot, Tim? There's a difference. I'm going to have to stop you.
He's getting what he wants. Call it what you want.
If you're the leader of a whole country with people that have different of opinions from you, you're supposed to find the happy medium.
He didn't campaign on that.
You're supposed to find some kind of common ground, and he does the total opposite. He's not winning. He's bullying. There's a whole difference.
Well, he didn't campaign on finding common ground, though.
I don't give a shit what he campaigned on. You got in there, this is what it is. And then he has so many of them, and they call the left weak. They some weak fucks. They weak as fuck, them that right wingers. Because y'all refuse to stand up to shit that you see is wrong. That's why MAGA, AKA mush. Mine's under Satan's hate.
That mush
My
thing
story's not sticking to it.
All right, we're gonna definitely end up using that one in the future. I gotta move it on, though, Miss Mo Better. Mine's under Satan's. What is the last part of that?
Hate.
Ooh. All of MAGA. You think all of MAGA is about hate?
The ones, yeah. You know why? You know why MAGA is about hate? Because the ones that aren't are not speaking up. They're not checking them. So guess what? If you allow it to happen, that means you agree with it. You don't have to intend something to achieve it. Now you can take that to the bank.
All right. Miss Mo Better, no one does it better. Thank you for coming through.
Okay.
Appreciate
Have a good one.
You too. Good talk. All right, by the way, tap the screen. We might be to reach 100. HUNNIT. We might be to reach 100 if you guys tap the screen. Get the likes on it. Now, somebody wants a happy medium. I don't think anybody's ever wanted a happy medium. Certainly, like I said, President Trump did not campaign on unifying the nation. Now, some might say the division started with Obama. Others might say the division started with Biden. Some might even go all the way back to George W. Bush and say the division started with him. Regardless of who you think the division started with, I don't think there's anybody that believes Trump was intending to unite us and fix it. I don't think anybody believes that. However we were divided when Trump took office in January of this year, I don't think anybody believed it was going to get any better. He didn't campaign on fixing it. So we had to know that we were going to stay at least as much divided as we were when he took office, because he was already talking about, how fucked up blue cities and areas were and speaking favorably of red areas. So we knew he wasn't going to do it. Damn, you got a big forehead, says Van B. Appreciate your input. There you go. All the foreheads you can look at. Mean tweets got too mean, Yoruba man said. True. I believe that is true. And I say that on the program all the time. You can't constantly brag about drinking liberal tears and how much you could go for some mean tweets and $2 gas, and you sticking it to the liberals and you're enjoying all the trolling. And then when they finally act out and do something insane, you act shocked. Okay, what happened to Charlie Kirk should not have happened. But if you constantly are, as they say, poking the bear or whatever the term is, somebody's gonna bite back. I mean, you're taking pleasure in pissing off millions of people. That is literally the goal, is to piss off millions of people. Just take to social media, or they're going to find out why it's called the Department of War in Chicago soon. I mean, this has nothing to do with making America great again. You're just saying things with the goal of pissing people off. Well, don't complain when somebody gets pissed off. And that's what happened. That is what happened. You taking pleasure in angering people and then acting shocked when some people get angry. Elon says, fuck them invaders and turned off Satans. What are you saying there? Charlie didn't poke a bear. He preached the truth. I don't know if Charlie preached the truth. He preached his truth. I'll leave it at that. He believed America should be one way, and he preached that. But I don't see where he was preaching the truth. I see where he was preaching his side of a debate. He said a lot of things. For instance, the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. I don't think everybody agrees with that. That's an opinion. That's not the truth. Even if you believe it, that's an opinion. That's not the truth. He said Juneteenth should not be a federal holiday. That's an opinion. That ain't the truth. He said Martin Luther King was awful. That's an opinion. That's not, and none of that stuff's true. That's how he felt. He's entitled to his, he has his right to be entitled to what he feels, but ain't none of that based on the truth. That's all opinion. And somebody said that's not what he said. Bullshit, it is what he said. He did say the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. He did say Juneteenth should not be a federal holiday. He did say Black Lives Matter equals burn, loot, and murder. All of that shit is an opinion. All of it is. If you agree with it, you agree with it. You're entitled to that. But all of that stuff is an opinion. None of that is true. Going back to the box, we'll continue on with Takesha Bowie. Well, I did live in Arizona. Right. Opinions based on bigotry. Damn. Your opinion is not the truth either. That is true, NC, 100%. But I wouldn't tell you my opinion is the truth. You guys are trying to tell folks his opinion is the truth. Takesha, good evening.
Hey, Tim, how you doing?
Yeah, real quick I'm doing good. Before we continue, someone in the comments has gave the age-old statement anytime Charlie Kirk comes up. Context. It says those statements were made during a wider conversation. Here's one of the things I don't understand. If somebody says that Trump is racist or Trump's an awful person, the right attacks. They don't say, well, what context do you mean that in? When Obama said you had to spread the what context does he mean that in? When Biden says they're what context? That never is asked. But all of a sudden, when one of the folks on the right says so, well, now you can't use sound bites. Now you got to go look into it in full context. Do you hear it like that, Takesha?
I do, and I think it's very ridiculous, and I'm not even going to address the foolishness because the man said what he said. You can watch the whole video. Guess what? He still said the same thing, whether you listen to the whole context or just a clip, Tim.
And I do agree with that, and I'll say this. And I got a video on YouTube that I made myself called Charlie Kirk in Full Context. You'll see a picture of me and Charlie Kirk in the thumbnail. But what I said in the video, because we do play a whole video of Charlie Kirk debating why he had an issue with black pilots. And my analysis is, if you like Charlie Kirk, you're going to like him in sound bites or in full context. If you don't like what you heard from those sound bites, hearing him in full context ain't going to change your mind. Ain't nobody changing their mind because they're hearing Charlie Kirk in full context. You either like him or you don't. So I don't think the full context thing makes a lot of sense.
Let me address something right quick, Tim, that I heard when I was listening, waiting to come in. And that person said that you're not going to heaven if you support abortion.
Yeah.
Because that's the one they always harp on, Tim. And even though the Bible says thou shalt not kill, it says thou shalt not commit adultery. Mm-hmm. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not lie. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor. So it's a lot of things that can keep you out. Why do they keep harping on abortion? Because you're not feeding the poor. You're not welcoming the immigrant. You're not checking on the sick. Those are the things that you do. He said, when you do those things to the least of them, you have done those things unto me. Mm-mm. So quit jumping on the abortion train, trying to say people ain't going to heaven because they don't believe it, because they believe in abortions. That's crazy to me, Tim.
Yeah, that's what.
It's bad for the Republicans that say they're against it. At the abortion place right now, getting their girlfriend one so their wife won't find out.
That's one reason why I've kind of strayed away from religion, and I am adamantly against putting religion in schools. It's too fucking judgmental.
People don't know.
It's too judgmental.
People misquote the Bible, and what they do, Tim, is they are modern day Pharisees. They call out everybody's sin that they don't like, and then they put a towel over theirs.
How about this one, though? Keith in the comments says using abortion as birth control is a black thing. So whites don't really do this.
White women have more abortion than black women do. Let's move on to the next question, Tim.
All right. Just wanted to present that to you because somebody did just say that. But
let's move on.
Yeah, I hear you. But my point is this. Like I said, this is the reason why I don't kind of strayed away from Christianity, and I don't believe it belongs in schools. It's too fucking judgmental. People telling you what you have done and whether you gonna get in heaven or not. That ain't your decision to make. You're a citizen like I am. You don't get to tell me if I'm gonna make it in or not. Go ahead.
Tim, listen to me. You said the correct word. Religious people. People are more religious than they are saved. People are more religious than they are followers of Christ. It's not about the title. It's about the walk. And a lot of people on crutches and can't walk. So they harp on religion. And that's the issue. Because we are not to judge nobody when we full of sin ourselves. That rally they had yesterday, where they got up there and did all that performing. Donald Trump got up there talking about the 2020 election. He got up there talking about how great tariffs was doing. You know, why he's stealing our money, because we done paid the tariffs. He got up there and talked about Joe Biden. You got up there and talked about everything at a funeral.
Yeah.
Your wife got up there and this Erica Kirk right here. And to that young man.
That's wrong. You are wrong for that. You are wrong for that.
No, sir. I forgive you. Wiping invisible tears, that mascara ain't moved. Makeup still was fresh, and that tissue was still dry.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
That young man on the cross, our Savior said, Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That young man, I forgive him.
What do you, come on now, that's sincere, is it not?
Where the tears? Where the water? Where the water, Tim?
She isn't crying.
That tissue was dry from the beginning to the end. I did not deserve that any of that was real. And if you did, bless your heart.
But she did. She did.
Tim, let me say this, Tim. After what Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, and some of them people got up there and said, if it was about forgiveness for that young man, she would have got up and said, listen, at the end of the day, this was about my husband and forgiveness, not about vengeance. She never came back and corrected the people that spoke hate into that service. And again, where were his parents?
That is a good question. Why wasn't there more? I mean,
why weren't they at the service, Tim?
Not to mention Candace Owens, who was a close friend. She didn't show up and speak at all. She didn't even go there.
I didn't even care about Candace. Where were the people that birthed him into the world?
I don't know. I do not know.
Tim, something ain't right about this whole, I don't care what you say, something is not right about this entire situation. But all I know is I want to call her and ask her where she got her mascara from. Because I need the kind that won't move, even with tears. And even when you wipe, when she dabbed her eye, it didn't even get on the tissue. I need that mascara.
This life.
I mean, now you got me really looking at the woman.
Watch it.
That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do.
For they know not what they do.
That man.
That young man.
I forgive him.
I forgive him.
Standing ovation. What say you?
Let's get the Oscar out right now.
You being mean.
Go and get the trophy.
This woman went through a lot. You being mean.
That woman ain't went through nothing.
How about Stephanie Goodrich says, let's try speaking in front of thousands after your father died. You are wicked to mock and make fun of her.
Let me explain something, Tim. It don't matter how many folks you standing in front of. Grief is grief. People get more emotional than that at a concert when their favorite song come on. When I went to the concert and Babyface started singing as soon as I get home from work, I was crying like somebody had shot my mama. So no, don't give me that crowd of people. Grief is grief. You don't grieve differently in private, and you don't grieve differently in front of people. Because if you grieve it, it don't matter who they are. Did you see Sharon Osbourne at Ozzy's funeral?
I didn't see that
That
one.
woman could not even walk.
I remember seeing Megan. I remember seeing.
Get on the side of her team and help her out. That woman grieved that man.
Yeah, but some people grieve. I mean, I remember seeing Megan. I remember seeing Megan McCain and John McCain funeral. She also was crying and sobbing up. But NC in the comments says, mocking a grieving widow is the fast track to hell.
Is that what the Bible say? I didn't read that in the Bible.
I don't think it's in the Bible.
Y'all gotta stop making up reasons people going to hell. I didn't see that nowhere in the Bible. Give me the scripture and the verse.
I can give you one that may not be in the Bible, but it is a question presented for you. Coming from Doug Veazey says, why do blacks kill so many of their innocent, beautiful babies in the womb? The black population in America has hovered between 11 and 13% for many, many decades. Indicating we're killing off our offspring.
Why white people won't feed them when they come out the womb?
They're gonna say it's not their job to do it. It's your job to feed your kids.
Excuse me. Why white people don't feed them why y'all make laws where they can't get fed? So you want them to bring them into the world and they just die after they get here of hunger? Why in the percentage? And go look this up. Why are white men the higher percentage that violently beat their women? Tell me about that. Why are you worried about black babies? And if you go look up the statistics, we're not the race that have the most ABs, sir. Please cut it out.
It's like with welfare. I don't know where that comes from. The same thing with welfare.
They play too much, Tim. They call us welfare queens, and then they raise the most government assistant takers in the country.
I can't speak on it because I know not of any of that. All right, Takesha, they putting you through the ringer though.
I done told you about running.
Well, here's one for you. Somebody is asking me, King of Alaska, that's a hell of a name, asked me, why do I have somebody on here like this? Are you kidding me? You've given her plenty of time. Get somebody else on here. It's not nobody else's responsibility to feed another woman's child. What say you?
And it's not nobody's business whether I keep it or not. How about that? If you don't want me to talk about feeding it, don't worry about whether I bring it here or not. Whose business is it of yours? Did I sleep with you? Is it your baby? Do you have the right to tell me what to do with a baby that you didn't help produce?
That's a strong comeback. I mean, for what he said, which is a strong statement, that's a strong comeback. Yeah, I mean, look, you're right. Do you have any say so of what I do with it then?
What he got? Is it his baby, Tim?
I don't know. I'm not Maury Povich.
Am I gonna call him for child support?
I'm not Maury Povich.
If I don't call him for child support, and if it ain't his baby, he has nothing to do with what I do with it.
Yeah, well said.
Y'all learn to keep your mouth to yourself and worry about you. And not you, but you.
Takesha, I gotta move it on. It's always good talk. Thank you. By the way, moving on, since somebody said this is the best caller ever, tap the screen and get the lights on up. 106 on. Can we do 115? Thank you folks that have been tapping the screen. You know how we run the program. I do got an Instagram. We'll go over there. And it is, okay, what is that? What is the name there? It's the left, I think it says. We'll see what it says there. You are ignorant as hell, says Keith. Yikes. The girl seems very correct, says Jake. Why do white people have no rhythm? What does that mean? You didn't see John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever? He had rhythm. Channing Tatum in, what is the strippy movies with Channing Tatum? You know, so he has some rhythm. There's some of them that have rhythm. If you made the baby just to kill the baby, that is behavior I don't understand. NC, I can see both sides of this debate. I can see the debate about, or the argument about not using pregnancy terminations for birth control. But I can also see her argument, my last caller, in saying, if you're going to demand I have the baby, then you should be willing to help if I need some help. I can see both arguments. If you're going to get involved, actively get involved in how she lives her life, whether or not she carries the baby to term, if she comes to you for help, I think you should offer her some help because you're making decisions for her. JD, appreciate the TikTok cap. Thank you very much. You guys have been really kind on that. Thank you. Helping me reach my goal. Who is this lady? Everything she is saying, I'm with her in this chat. The wife was reading a script. She had to say that after her first words of hate. We need to talk about the white-on-white crime. Apparently there's no white-on-white crime. It's only black-on-black crime if you listen to a lot of the media. Let me go back to the box. Tap thy screen. Get the lights on it. We'll go to Daryl Walker. Why they worried about the woman with the baby and not the father? Man, they be worried about the father. Daryl, good evening.
Hey, how are you?
I'm in the trenches this evening, but we're talking about everything from Kimmel getting his job back, because you know they had terminated Jimmy Kimmel off the air. Do you think it was a good thing to put him back on air, or did he cross the line with Charlie Kirk?
No, I think it's freedom of speech. I don't care how you put it. You know, it's freedom of speech. I just don't get why this person wants to lash out at anybody that speaks criticism of others. I thought we had the right to criticize or make our opinions on feel the views that we feel, and that's that.
Well, when you say this person, who are you referring to?
Trump, of course. I just don't want. Just didn't want to mention a name because I'm not sure certain ways or phrases of people you speak specifically about whether it's acceptable during a live. That's all.
Yeah, we tend to be for free speech here, but I do understand in the current environment, a lot of people are now become fearful of criticizing President Trump for fear of retribution. So I get where you're going with it, though.
It's not a fact of fear of retribution. It's just a fact that I don't want, everybody knows who I'm talking about, and I just didn't want to mention the name because my personal reasons. It's just, yesterday completely put me in a space of saying that Trump is absolutely, totally, without a doubt, unfit to be the president of the United States. He doesn't have the character. He doesn't have the professionalism. He doesn't have anything that go along with what we expect, our expectation of our president, especially of the United States of America, the highest position in the world, and we have this guy in that position. And it's just, it's just sad. I'm being
told that President Trump is the best president we've ever had by a lot of MAGA on virtually every show.
Would you say MAGA, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Outside of that, do you get that opinion?
No, not outside of that. Not outside of that.
Okay, so we need not even speak on them and what they are as followers, as cult members, or whatever you want to call it. He is their higher power, and I respect it. That's the guy that you feel is best fit. They can't even tell you anything when you ask him what has he done. What's the first and only thing they say? Oh, he did the border. He closed the border. That's the first and only thing they can say. Oh, he closed the border.
Well, there's a few more things.
What does that tell you?
I mean, he protected the integrity of women's sports. They believe the terrorists are going to. Now, I don't believe this, but they believe the terrorists are going to equate to jobs coming back, fair trade. They believe he got rid of 8 wars.
You can ask them what a tariff is, and I guarantee you 90% of them wouldn't even be able to explain exactly what a tariff is and how it works.
Wow.
They just hear the words and they just follow it. If you say walk down the street on Tuesday with your left hand in the air, that's what they're gonna do.
So you believe that you're making it sound like it's a cult.
Exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. It's a modern day cult. Period. So
how did this? Okay, you're not the only one I've had say this. So I'm going to ask this question: how did this develop? What has Trump did to gain a cult-like following?
He gave them a voice. He speaks what they always wanted to say. They have a person in the highest position to speak what they believe. Hate. That's it.
You think all Trump supporters? You think all Trump supporters are about his hate? You think they're all about hate?
Put one on the air that can tell you that it's not about hate.
They all tell you it's not about hate. Put one on the air that
says it's not about hate.
They all tell you it's not about hate.
Oh my God, Tim. These people only like people like them, and they follow a person just like them in the highest position in the world. Period, Tim.
Well, Candace Owens is not like them. Ben Carson is not like them. They like them.
Yesterday was just that tipped me all the way over to believing that spew that if you would turn that on, if you didn't catch it from the beginning, you wouldn't even know that was a memorial for Charlie Kirk.
That's a great way of putting it. You're right. If you would have turned on that memorial in the middle of it, you would not have known it was.
You wouldn't have never known. It was no different from a convention.
Yeah, that is true.
For them to take that, what was supposed to be a memorial, and just hijack it for their own personal gains, because they knew the TV ratings and the audience is the crowd that they need down the line for votes to continue to follow them in their agenda. And they had the perfect stage to do that, and they hijacked that, for their own self-gain. And that's just so disheartening, inhumane for them to have done that when a person's life has been taken.
And I see somebody in the comments, Takesha, my last caller, said they crashed Grinder again. Is that true? I don't think that's true.
I'm not sure what does the crash grinder mean.
There's a dating app. If we got hundreds of thousands of people there all in one place. If they're on their phones, and I see Michael said he heard that dude, they crash. Oh my God! Really? Wow.
That was. I mean, I just couldn't believe that. She's. For her reasons and feelings, are saying, to not hate, and the person that follows her says hate. So where does, what's the correlation of a widow grieving and still saying love, if that's how she felt, and then you have the highest person with the highest position in the world, the highest position in the world, say hate. I hate. That is so deep when a person on a microphone in front of millions of people tell you, I hate. That's the president of the United States.
Yeah, I
never thought I'd see the day.
No, and I can't speak on why he would do something like that either, but I'm telling you, I've been discussing that with MAGA all day, and they favor it. They don't see anything wrong with him getting up there and saying that he hates his opponents and does not wish them well. They were totally okay with that.
First of all, when does it become so, fine line that there's two different sides? You understand what I'm saying? They're the only ones propping up two different sides, us and them.
Well, I don't know about that.
When he came onto the scene.
I don't know. Biden was mentioning two different sides too. I mean, that didn't start with Trump.
As a result of them, as a result of what they were saying, not something that they initiated.
Well, I think the difference is because Trump is on TV so much, he definitely attacks more because he gets more camera time. He's on TV and before the cameras, but the left was talking about two different sides. That ain't something that started with Trump.
I differ that, but this whole message is us against them. Stephen Miller specifically drove down that road with his us against them, that we're nothing, and he wants it's like he wanted to implant it. Say it after me, they're nothing. Say it after me, they're nothing. Say it after me, they're nothing. So when they leave out to go home, everything that they see that's not what they saw in there, we're nothing.
Yeah, it was super divisive. I don't think there's anyone that can argue what they did at the memorial was not divisive. It was very divisive, but like I said, MAGA tends to like that.
It was almost like a hypnosis show, if you ask me.
Wow.
If you ask me, it was like a hypnosis show. Maybe the last time we did it was wearing off, so we got this opportunity to re-hypnotize them to make sure that we're safe with the votes that we need to keep the border safe.
So before moving on, what do you think about President Trump today also suggesting that Tylenol, at least for pregnant moms, is bad, could give the kids autism?
Did he back that up with some scientific evidence?
That's a good question. I do not. I believe there is one outfit, not much though. It looks like the medical community is totally against what he said. So I don't know if he really backed it up with any significant medical evidence.
See that right there. If the picture behind you, you got these three guys. One on Trump's right side has no credentials to back up substantiate anything whatsoever. Dr. Oz, I don't know his background. I know they call him Dr. Oz.
I think he's a cardiac. I thought he was a cardiac surgeon.
Yeah.
Well, he sure abandoned that to follow Trump.
Well, more money is hanging around Trump.
That is all about, I think, all their pockets for loyalty, to a certain extent. Who knows what goes behind, who tells what about what to invest. They just drilled Cash Patel about some stocks that he owned, you know, and why did he have them? And you know, I'm not specifically sure what the point he was making about the stocks, but they're making money, Tim. I believe our country is getting robbed blind while they're in office. And I believe a good percentage of that is because they're in on deals and they're making money.
Yeah, they're making I think they're making a lot of money.
They're making money.
Real quick in the comments, Takesha, hold on a second. Real quick, Takesha said that Dr. Oz is not a cardiac. AI Overview says Dr. Mehmet Oz is a cardiothoracic surgeon with an undergraduate degree from Harvard and a joint medical MBA from the University of Pennsylvania. He was a professor of surgery and director of Cardiovascular Institute. He got an extensive medical background. Dr. Oz does. He has an extensive medical background. So, but he's the only one out of those three you see on stage there. He is the only one, but he does have, it does appear as if Dr. Oz, now I don't know if he has any background to be talking about, you know, Tylenol, but he does have a medical background.
But he has an understanding of how the medical world works when you want to make something safe or use something for a specific. He has those guidelines and somewhere along his studies of using scientific, you know, information to say certain things. And Trump nor Kennedy has that, and I can't believe that he would say something like that as if he has a medical background to substantiate his what he's saying. That's just you can't do that to people. You can't do that. I'm just, you know, it's a sad state, Tim, that we're living in now. It's just absolutely. I wake up every day and I feel like it's a cloudy day even when it's sunny outside.
Damn.
You know,
that's a metaphor.
It's that bad. It's so much stress. I mean, we're getting this shoved down our throats every single day. I purposely don't do it on Sundays because I dive myself into football and all that. But I tell myself don't even turn on any news on Sundays because I just can't take it. We're getting shoved 7 days a week, 24/7. No matter what channel you put it on that has news, he's at the forefront of it, and that's just too much. We're being just saturated with this guy.
Could be all by design. This is what we voted for. He is our president. I gotta move it on down.
No, don't, Tim, hold on. We didn't do anything.
America.
Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror.
I'm saying this is what America voted for.
No, look in the mirror. That's what you and, you know, about half of the country voted for. So don't blame all of us for this mess we got to go through, you know, and we got to clean up somehow, some way. Don't blame me.
All right.
You know.
That's a fair point.
You did that to us. You did that to us.
I didn't do that to you.
You did that to us.
I didn't do that. I did not do that.
I don't even see how it's laughable. You did this.
I did not. I leaned left,
You
Daryl.
probably didn't know this. You probably didn't know this 2.0 Trump, but you definitely knew the 1.0 Trump.
Yeah, but I didn't vote right. I vote left. I lean left.
What I want to see is the Republicans hijack their party back.
They're happy with they don't need to hijack it. They're happy with the pilot they got. They don't need to hijack it. The jet is flying in the right direction for them.
They don't have the backbone to take it back. But do you know, I'm gonna say this real quick. They have the House and the Senate. Tomorrow morning, they can start the process of impeachment.
They're gonna
start the process.
They're gonna destroy their whole fucking party. So wait a minute. You think they're gonna destroy their own fucking party so the liberals would win? They're not gonna do that.
No, Tim. That doesn't mean it's 100% guaranteed that a Democrat will win.
Really highly likely.
Next time. It's just what we have to do is get it out of this man's hands before we are completely destroyed. Right now, there are countries that are our adversaries, all right, formulating, because our pants are all the way down by our ankles right now. We can't see nothing coming because we're so diverse. We're so driven by what's going on inside our country. We don't know what these adversaries. What was it about a month ago when it was all over in China?
Yeah.
Right.
You talking when they were all with India, China, and Russia were meeting together?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That wasn't by chance. That was planned.
Yeah.
What would we do if they all got together and came after us? We're not that strong.
No, well, you got to think. You got to understand.
Let me tell you something. The only thing that's saving us right now from an attack is we're on the other side of the world. That's the only thing that's saving us from an attack from one of those countries. It's not all of them. Because if we was over there or closer than where we are right now, we would have been attacked.
I don't know about that. I don't know if we've done anything.
I'm thinking.
Not yet.
I
Not
feel
yet.
strongly.
Not yet. You're moving too fast.
You said yet.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying in the future they may not want to attack us, but Russia and China don't have a reason to want to go into war. I mean, we are a nuclear nation. Even if they do defeat us, we're going to kick a hell of a lot of ass going out. I mean, we have 5,000 atomic weapons.
We don't. So who wins?
That's what I'm talking about. You're talking about mutually assured destruction. That's what I'm talking about. They're not going to attack America. That's not going to happen.
Tim, I'm telling you right now, Iran will not forget what we just did a few months ago to them. They're not going to forget that. They're not going to forget that.
If Iran is going to hold a grudge, they're going to go for Israel first. Israel will make an easier target, and they got a lot more to be pissed off with Israel about.
And so then what happens? We get pulled in.
I'm not saying it's not part. Before I let you go, here's what I think is going on. I think the world is giving the United States a little bit of leeway in trying to find out first, are you guys going to continue this every 4 years shit? Because we might not like Trump, but if you continue what you normally do, in 3 years he's gone. So let us see where you're going with this shit first. I think maybe more of that, and then we can see what happens in 2028 going forward. Last word on you.
We don't have to 2028 to get this thing righted. We don't have that. At the rate that we're going right now, I'm lucky and hoping we can make it to 26. And I'm pretty sure he's doing everything he possibly can to make sure 26 doesn't happen.
What do you think he's doing? You make it sound like he just wants to burn the country down.
No, the election.
Oh,
the election. Why do you think one of my reasons what I think he's doing with sending the National Guards, hoping that one of these people get hurt, and that he could declare martial law. And now what happens? It's suspended. Elections are suspended. He said it on TV.
Yeah, with Zelensky.
Zelensky. About 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, he said it next to Zelensky. All I got to do is start a war. Yeah, he did say that. All right, I got to move it on, Daryl. You're scaring the shit out of the kids. Appreciate you coming on, though, man. Good talk.
Have a good night.
And I don't think everything he's saying is off culture. I think, listen, certainly the martial law thing, I absolutely could see Trump trying to pull that. I do believe he might try to pull something like that. Just like with Jimmy Kimmel, give me an excuse and we'll get rid of his ass. Give me an excuse and we'll call martial law. I could see that. I could also see MAGA cheering it on. I don't think MAGA would have any problem with him doing it. Looking in the comments here quick. My vapes are now made in the USA, says Sterlo. Okay, there's one job that came back on. You're right. You're talking about a man that has billions on. He has billions on the plane, several motels. Really, it is what we needed, someone to run it like a business. I heard that, listen, when Trump got elected, he's not taking a salary. We don't have to worry about him trying to be corrupt because he's got his own money. It really sounded great. I'm just going to say it really did sound good to finally have somebody that had their own money and not have to worry about. But then when he got in there, that's all he did was took money. That's all he did was showed he was. Look, everybody that's got their own money are not in a position where they don't want more. I mean, Steve Jobs worked until he died. Jeff Bezos, as wealthy as he is, he still works. Elon Musk, still working. So just because they got their own money don't mean they're not trying to get more. And President Trump has made a lot of money since he became president. I don't know what Trump was worth when he came down the golden escalator in 2015. He claimed at the time to be worth 15 billion. Forbes later came back and disputed it. I don't know what the guy's worth. But I will tell you this, if you were to graph his wealth, you would be able to tell from the graph when he became president. Because the graph would probably show his income rising. And then in 2015, it would just skyrocket. You would be able to tell something around this time of your life, something really happened. You started making a lot more money. And I do believe since he became president, certainly in his second term, he's making a killing. He's crypto. There's no way to even know how much money he's making via crypto, but there's no way in hell I'm going to believe him and his wife having their own cryptocurrency are not making anything at all. All of the deals that he's involved in, he's skimming off the top. Each one of these deals, whether we're talking about Stephen Colbert and him getting fired because of that merger, he had access to all of these mergers that he gets the chance to approve. He's not just approving them because he thinks it's okay. He's skimming off of that stuff. Anything, what did the guy say? A nickel bag gets sold in the park. I want in. Anything you guys do, I want my cut. I mean, he's telling the Washington Commanders they need to go back to the Redskins if they want the deal to get another stadium. Any deal that he's involved in, he's taking cuts off of that stuff. And I see in the comments, Gendal History says, you're so fucking wrong. No, I don't believe I am. I do believe that any deal that President Trump, just like he talked about the FCC licenses, well, if you're going to be negative of me, then you should have your license snipped. He's told the media that when they come and interview him, you have to only ask topics in accordance to what the Pentagon told you can ask. If you need approval from Trump, he's going to demand something from you. I think it's all over the place. Some of this stuff is all over. And by the way, when you say show the proof, it's been all over the news that they said that. You telling me there's no, you haven't seen that? That for the folks that are sitting around the press conference asking Trump questions, they're now being told they can only ask approved Pentagon stuff. So you're not going to see, what is his name, Peter Doocy challenging Janine St. Pierre. Remember Biden's spokesperson, the African-American woman, and Doocy of Fox News would get her on all kinds of gotcha questions and shit and give all kinds of sound bites on how bad the Biden administration looked. That's not going to happen on the Trump administration because they just won't invite you back. If you get a liberal version of Doocy and he asks a gotcha question, they're not going to invite you back. You're only going to get to do it one time. So say what you want about the Biden administration. At least he was willing to take those questions over and over and over again. That's not going to happen under Trump. They're not going to invite you back. So like I said, if you haven't heard this stuff, then you haven't been paying attention. I'll just leave it at that. Continuing on, but yeah, if Trump is involved in your deal, he wants some sort of a cut. Ed G says you don't have much to stand on when Pelosi represents your party. Show her income and wealth rise. Now she's skimping off the top for her rich and Democrat for decades. That's 100% true. Nancy Pelosi, she was doing it out of the stock market because that's where the representatives have the biggest way of skimming money because they're actually voting on legislation to make stuff happen, and then they know which companies are going to be a success or which companies might be a failure. Nancy Pelosi is a perfect example. I cannot argue with you, Ed. Nancy Pelosi is likely very corrupt. She got very wealthy as a congresswoman. I'm not arguing about that. But now it's happening with Trump in office. Marjorie Taylor Greene reportedly made a couple $1 million. When Trump was talking about the tariffs and he was moving them all around like the facial features of Mr. Potato Head, people were making money from that. People were being told, I think he had a dinner where you could go to Mar-a-Lago and meet with him and sit down at dinner with him and you paid I think it was either $100,000 or $500,000 or some shit like that to have dinner with the president and all of these tech heads and all of them. You think they're just sitting around talking about the game? What do you think they're doing? Why do you think they're paying that kind of money to sit next to him? You don't think that kind of shit is coming up? Well, what are you going to do? Well, tomorrow I'm going to impose a tariff on China. You better make sure you get your semiconductors by Friday. That kind of shit. They're making a killing off of that stuff. So, yeah, I absolutely believe that money is being made off the Trump administration. Them tariffs made a whole lot of people a fortune because President Trump could contact the head of a country and tell him, simply put, I need this, I need that. My friend needs this, my wife needs that. Otherwise, tomorrow, 5% extra in tariffs. There's not going to be a public record of it, but I feel confident it's happening behind the scenes. Feel absolutely confident that those tariffs were being used as a weapon to profit. Because we know the former leader of Brazil, which was accused and convicted of trying to stage a coup, Trump favored that guy and actually increased the tariffs of Brazil just for simply prosecuting the guy. He's just picking and choosing, using tariffs as weapons and every damn thing. So if he can use them as a weapon, you're gonna believe he didn't make no money off of that? I don't buy that. Anyway, looking in the comments though, Biden took the questions, but he didn't answer them completely. I don't know where Biden's coming at it. Biden fixed the economy twice, which is why Obama had a great 8 years and why the deficit was stagnant before he left. All right. I don't know where that went, but anyway, I do appreciate the 145 thou, THOU. You know how the program is ran. We're here generally Monday through Friday. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their comments. You can be critical of the host. You know how we do it. Nevertheless, we let everyone speak. Left to Bernie Sanders, so I'm having dinner with Q. If you enjoy this type of programming, feel free to follow the program if you're watching on TikTok or Instagram. If you're watching on YouTube, give your boy a sub. Unfortunately, I got to get up early in the morning. It's your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. Catch you tomorrow. I don't know if I even turned it off. There we go. Y'all see y'all tomorrow. The damn screen froze up on me. That's what happened. Thanks for tuning in.